Well, you might need a little extra brass bonanza on a positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. And as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. How are you? I'm Jason Gregor. He is Connor Halley. And man, we have a loaded show for you today. You know what? Hey, it's Positive Friday. Sports are supposed to be fun. And you know what? Corey Perry, as he mentioned last night in the room, was pretty somber. It was. Oiler fans, I can tell you the feeling in the arena, outside afterwards, same thing. Fans were disappointed, to say the least. You know, as you should be. You know, it's the playoffs. You're hoping for a win. You want your team to win. I totally understand it. And now they are in 4 must-win situations, but can only do one at a time. And yeah, you know what? It's cliche because it's true, right? You can't get your degree unless you go to year 1, year 2, right? So on and so on. You can't just skip ahead. And that's where the Oilers are. Now, if you were somebody who picked the Oilers in 7, that means you picked the Panthers to win 3 games. You probably didn't pick them to win the first 3, but still, they won 3. So we'll touch on all that. We'll have a little fun. And so, because to me, you might need something to fire you back up. Maybe you're down in the doldrums. Maybe you're a little, like you can tell the people that because trust me, it's easy for people to say, oh, it's over, they're out. Oh, really? Who came up with that incredibly insightful thought? Of course, they got the odds are against them. Everybody knows it, right? They got to try to channel their LA Kings from 2014, who, by the way, when the Kings did it, they went on to win the Stanley Cup. Right? They were down 3 to the San Jose Sharks, a very good team. Nobody thought the Kings were going to win, but they came back and won. What about 2010, the Philadelphia Flyers, a team who, by the way, made the playoffs on the last day of the regular season when they won in a shootout over the New York Rangers. And that's what got them in. And they needed 7 games to come back. But it worked over the Boston Bruins. Now, there's been a few other situations where teams at least have made it a 7-game series. Now, they didn't complete the task, but you made it a series. And right now, I think that's what, the Oilers are just hoping to make it a series. I get 1 win tomorrow night, then we'll see what happens. It would be easy to say, oh, they're done. But trust me, we have all summer to talk about that. Why would we do it? Why would I do it today and come on here and be Eeyore? Makes no sense to me. So we're going to, I went online and I was looking at some people that I think can help you get in the believing mode for your Edmonton Oilers. I can't. It's not my thing. But so we'll use some people from some of your favorite movies, maybe some of your favorite characters, and some of them are humorous. Some of them are going to get you fired up, make you want to run through a wall, right? That's what the movies are for, right? You probably have your favorite quote from a movie, some sports movies, some others like Independence Day, right? It's classic. So there's a few other ones. So let's start with a character who was a motivational speaker. Do the Oilers need to bring him in? Now, may he rest in peace, Chris Farley. But when you were thinking, this is one of the greatest skits of all time. Matt Foley, motivational speaker.
All right, how's everybody? I am a motivational speaker. Now let's get started by letting me give you a little bit of a scenario of what my life is all about. I live in a van down by the river. Now you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably not going to amount to jack squat. Now, you kids are probably asking yourselves, hey, Matt, how can we get the right track? Oh, Matt's going to be your shadow. Here's you, here's Matt. There's you, there.
Oh, it's one of the greatest scenes. That's when he breaks the table. Now, Matt Foley might not be the greatest motivational speaker. Right? You're going to amount to jack squat. probably not what the Oilers want to hear, right? Like, that's not the motivational speech that's going to get them firing and excited. So we'll get to you one that might. Because when you listen to this, because this is one of the great sports movies from one of the greatest actors of our generation. Guy could do anything. He could do drama. He could do comedy. He could do dark. He was a beauty. But true story. So hey, it's always sometimes more challenging to play a real life person. And Samuel L. Jackson as Coach Carter in this. Now listen to these words, because these words I think will resonate for the Oilers, because I think this one hits very close to home as to why the Oilers are trailing right now.
Gentlemen, you told me you deserved to be here. Well, you're not playing like it. All season long, we played our game. Right now, you're playing theirs. When we step on the floor, every second that clock is ticking, we are pedal to the middle. We run the ball. We pressure the ball. And most importantly, we control the tempo of the game. We make them play Richmond Oilers ball. Worm, you can take this kid. Force him left. And when he crosses over, you jump him. Damien, push the tempo. Kenyon, loud, crash the board. Cruz, when you're in the game in transition, take that jumper you love. Junior, just keep doing what you're doing. Hold on to that monster. You do those things, gentlemen, and I guarantee you, at the end of the game, we will be there.
There you go. That one, because you think about it, when he went through some of the individuals, right? Like the Oilers, they need their best guys here. It's 3 games in, and you've got goose eggs for McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard. If anybody would have told you at the start of this series that we'd be heading into game 4 and the Oilers would have 0 goals from those 5 players, you would have said, you're an idiot. No one would have believed that. Not even the most ardent Florida Panther fan would have said, we're going to hold them to 0 goals. Give them credit. They've done it. But when you look at odds, the odds are against the Oilers to come back and win 4 straight. I know it. We all know it. Heck, the Oilers know it. We'll hear from Zach Hyman in a second. But the odds that the Oilers' top 5 guys who have been very productive all playoffs, who played other good teams, can't combine to score 1 goal? Come on. Right? Broberg, Fogle, McLeod, they found ways to score. Now, Fogle on a breakaway. Finally, the Oilers scored on a breakaway. And it's Warren freaking Fogle. But then it's Broberg. You know what? Put one on net, get a little bit of a bounce. McLeod goes to the net. What happens when you go to the net? Deflections. And then he almost, I talked to him after, or actually today about that, right after he had scored. He didn't have a lot of time. He looked up and he goes, man, the 5-hole was open. I just didn't hit it. And that kind of symbolizes how it's been for the Oilers. But I agree. Coach Carter's conversation there about, guys, we played our game. You got to play their game. And their game is their big gun scoring. That's just a fact. So for 1 game, can their big guns show up? Obviously, they need other guys too. But can someone in their big guns get going? And that's what they're going to need. They're going to need their big guys. It's that simple. We all know it. Right? They gotta be aware. You gotta find ways to score. And the thing is, they're getting looks. You know, McDavid said it after the game. Look at that pass from Draisaitl and McDavid. McDavid's like, I gotta score there. Right? Hyman's had looks. They've had looks. Hey, you got to give Bobrovsky credit, man. He's played very well. But other goalies have played well, and the Oilers have found ways to beat them. Right? Remember that game in the regular season when Vasilevsky stood on his head? The Oilers still scored 4 goals. So, you know what? Find a way. You scored 3 on Bobrovsky yesterday. It's the first time, only the second time in 13 games he allowed more than 2. So he is human. He's beatable. It's hard to do, but they're going to have to do it. It's that simple. Now, one of the cause we have the Michael Sheen clip ready. Yes. Now here, if I want you, this one will give you chills because this is one of the best motivational. Now, this is not a coach. This was done live on a television show before the World Cup last year, right? And remember when England was playing Wales, and so obviously Wales is the big underdog, and right now the Oilers are the big underdog. But man, this guy, listen to his description and how he's going to fire someone up. I'm telling you, if I'm the Edmonton Oilers, and I asked Zach Hyman about it today, and he kind of chuckled, but because I'm like, hockey's still fun. Yeah, the Oilers are down 3-0. Now's not a time to feel sorry for yourself, right? It's not. So if some fans choose to, that's their choice. But if you actually think the Oilers are going to spend a moment feeling sorry for themselves, like they're not going to. Because the minute they do, they might as well not even show up. They got to believe that they can win one game. Can't win 4 games at once. You can only win one game. And that's what they have to believe. And I genuinely, listening to them, watching them, last night in that room, that's the quietest it's been after any game. And they've lost other games, but that one hurt. There's no question about it. It hurt deep. But today, as Corey Perry said, hey, the sun came up. Now we have another opportunity to prove ourselves. That's what's great about sports. You get an opportunity to prove yourself. And here is Michael Sheen. If this, you should play this for your team if you want to get fired up before a big game.
Michael, as a proud Welshman, you must be excited to be playing England in the World Cup this winter.
Oh, yes.
Can I ask you, could you give us a little burst of the sort of rousing speech that you might give the Welsh lads before the game?
Oh, my God. That's a big responsibility.
Yes. Can we have some music, please?
All right. I have to get in the right headspace now. Okay. Amarohid. Amarohid. I hear the voices singing. Speed your journey, boys, boys, back. One nation, singing with one voice. A song of hope, a song of courage, a victory song that floats through the valleys like a red mist, rolls over the mountaintops like crimson thunder. A red storm is coming to the gates of Qatar. It crackles with the spirit of 58. Jimmy Murphy's boys. It turns the pages of the history books and finds Rob's page, waiting, still to be written. What would you write in there, boys? Dare you write your names on that page? We haven't waited 64 years and come halfway around the world to be troubled by a neighbor from back home. When the English come knocking on our door, let's give them some sugar, boys. Let's give them some Welsh sugar. They've always said we're too small, we're too slow, we're too weak, too full of fear. But under you sons of speed, as they fall around us, we are still here.
Oh, I love the ending. Oh, think about it, man. People get fired up. That's what sports is all about, right? You're supposed to get fired up. So if you got any other ones, send us in. We'll play because you know what? We have a lot of people who might need something to get fired up today. But hey, it's sports. You're supposed to have a good time with it.
Gregor, as an England fan,
yeah.
Let me just say England won 3-0.
Oh,
didn't quite work for him, but
well, he wasn't playing, right? Maybe, I don't know. Did they play it in the room? I don't know.
Great speech,
right?
That music made it so good.
Well, that's the other thing, right? That always adds to it for sure, right? The music in the background makes it a little bit nicer, but it's you know what? That stuff's great. Now there is one. We're saving a few. I'm not gonna, hey, you can't waste all your energy in the first period. It's the first segment of the show. Don't worry, we got other ones coming. People are asked because there is one for all of our sports fans, and I know many of you remember the sports ones. Like I got some funny slap shot ones coming. Yeah, we got a lot of losses. Oh, it's a classic. I'd have to beep out a few of those, but still, it's a classic. There is one, like right away when I was thinking of this, the first one that came to my mind. It's probably the one that many of you have thought about as well. And don't worry, it's coming. It'll come up in the next hour, and we'll spread them out. We got a few of them. We'll ask our guests if they have any that can can get you going, because there's some outstanding ones out there for sure. So, have you ever been part of one? Because it's hard, man. Like it's hard to be the person to deliver that and deliver it eloquently with some composure and emotion mixed in, right? I've seen some where people get fired up and they're just dropping swear words every third word, and that's okay. But I don't know. Those weren't the best ones that I've ever experienced firsthand. So, but there are a few that we will get to throughout the show today. So if you have any of your faves, send the link 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're going to talk to a gentleman who was on a team recently, down 3-0, came back to win this series in 7. And he did it in the salary cap era, not that long ago, as a member of the Philadelphia Flyers. Former NHLer, was he on the NHL Network. He's an absolute beauty of a guy. Like, you're a beauty of a guy when you have T-shirts and you're raising money because of how often you fall down in the course of a game. That's how much of a beauty Scott Hartnell is. And he will join us next. And we will talk about the 2010 Philadelphia Flyers, who were counted out, a team that made the playoffs on the final day of the year to trail the Boston Bruins 3-0, only to come back and win the series in 7. That's coming up next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Finals fever is here, and it's all about the Oilers. We're boosting your odds and enhancing your parlays on all playoff games. Every bet on any game enters you into a draw to win seats for the 2024-25 hockey season, or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season. Use promo code Gregor50 when you deposit at PlayAlberta.ca to receive a $50 free sports bet. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Kevin, what are you doing in here?
Well, last month you were giving away, so I just thought I would see if you were still giving away in June.
Stop swearing. And yes, we are still giving away in June at St. Albert Dodge. Take our 2024 Durango. Was $64,500 and now just $52,900. Need a new Ram 1500 4x4 crew cab? We've got it. Originally $63,700, now just $44,900.
See, you are still giving away.
Kevin, stop swearing. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Your business is unique. It has its own challenges and its own risks. Does your commercial insurance reflect that? At High Street Insurance, we believe in a personalized approach. As an independent broker, we take the time to create a partnership with you. We get to know your business and ensure that your insurance coverage is specifically designed to protect what matters to you. Insurance that's dependable, transparent, and tailored to suit your unique needs. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Jason Gregor for Volvo of Edmonton. This summer, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance, or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 retail.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440 every weekend. Catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for all things sports.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Friday, your Edmonton Elks host the Grey Cup champ Montreal Alouettes for 90s Night, presented by Edmonton International Airport. Wear your best 90s outfit for your chance to win a trip to see last year's Grey Cup halftime performers Green Day in Montreal at Osheaga. Tickets and more, go Elks.com.
Welcome back. Positive Friday on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. And hey, we'll have some more of the great cool motivational scenes in movies or shows. Oh, so many good ones. We'll get to all of those. But first, we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. And Oiler fans, you're sitting there, you're frustrated. You're like, oh my God, the season's over. Well, guess what? The odds aren't great. We all know that. Anybody can look at the odds, but they're not impossible. And our next guest, our big guest of the day, knows firsthand how it feels to be down 3-0 in a series, but then find a way to come back and win. And it wasn't that long ago, 2010, in the second round, as a member of the Philadelphia Flyers. They're down 3-0 to the Bruins. There have been some tight games, just like this series. And then they managed to win 4 in a row. Scotty Hartnell, of course, played 1,249 NHL regular season games, another 100 in the playoffs. Scotty, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm good, Jason. Quite the introduction. You forgot to say Lorie-Minster, Alberta native as well.
There you go.
I'm cheering for you guys.
There you go. Well, we were talking earlier. I'm like, he's a certified beauty. One of the few guys who can have a whole fundraising campaign and T-shirts made around Hartnell Down, which was still probably one of the greatest things that the NHL and a player had ever done, really. It was fantastic. Everybody around the league loved it. But take me back, Scott, to 2010. And you'd been a veteran. I think that was like your 9th or 10th season in the NHL. You'd been in the playoffs. You'd went to the third round a few years earlier with the Flyers, and you find yourself down 3-0. What do you remember of those first 3 games? Did you guys feel, because a lot of the older players are like, man, like this doesn't feel like we're down 3-0. We've played well enough that we should have won at least one, maybe 2 of these games. Did you feel the same way in 2010?
It was almost the same case scenario. The first game, we didn't play that good. Boston obviously up 1-0 in the series. Second game, kind of few adjustments, like every team's make in a 7-game series. Played a lot better. Probably should have had a better fate. Game 3, played unbelievable and still found a way to lose that game. And we're like, after the game, like we had a players only meeting, I believe, and we're like, if we play that same way or better, we're going to win a game, right? You can only win 1 game at a time. You can't win 4 in a row, right? So we were playing awesome in that game 4, up a goal late. They score with the goalie pulled. Mark Recchi scored, I believe, and tied it up, and we're like, oh my word, this is not happening to us. We should be up 3-1 in this series, right? We end up scoring in overtime that game, smoked it in game 5, smoked it in game 6. And all this hard work gone for nothing. Peter Laviolette, coach, he called a timeout. His timeouts were just kind of seemed to spark us there, and then scored a goal that first period, 3-1, tied it up 3-3, and then Simone Gagne third period snipes to make it 4-3. So you got to hang your head on something, and you look at that third period, just kind of how they dominated, how Bobrovsky has been winning these games for the Florida Panthers, and you got to believe that he is just human. He's not superhuman. He's not a robot, anything like that. So, he can be beat. So you got to believe that. And they play with that intensity that they have showed, in spurts that they can get 1 win, and then you go back to Florida and you try and do it all over again.
I think a lot of people forget the game 7. You guys were down 3-0 in game 7. Yeah. And you're thinking, what? And you were down 3-0 the first 14 minutes of the first period, right? It's like, oh my God, you're on the road. This isn't great. Then Van Riemsdyk scored late. You come in that second period, and you know what? You had a hell of a second period. You had a goal and an assist. Do you remember, what was said, and how important was that JVR goal for your group, just to, to give some life at the end of the first period?
Yeah, Lavi said, we just want 1 goal this period. Give us some life going into the first intermission, right, to prove that you're kind of in this game. And if you watch Van Riemsdyk's goal, that at the end of the period, it was just a muff shot. I think he broke his stick and somehow found his way in. It was one of those, kind of fluky goals, and then, kind of just ignited us, right? And, our line with Danny Briere and Billy Lano, we had a great second period, like you said, had a little backhand snipe there from a bad angle, and then, just played some tough hockey, and Simone scored late, and then, held them off they had a barrage of shots at the end of regulation, but it was almost like we won our Stanley Cup. I remember looking up at the ticker, in the Boston Gardens there, and we saw that Montreal was beating Pittsburgh in the second round as well, and we're like, oh my gosh, if we win this game, we're going to have an absolute cakewalk to the finals, right? Because we were beating Montreal pretty easily that year, and then we ended up smoking them in 5 games, and obviously fell a little bit short in the Stanley Cup Finals against Chicago, but. It's all about the mindset. It's all about, finding that mojo at the right time. You need your big boys to, pick it up. That's no secret right there. But you got to believe that, some will turn your way.
Scott Hartnell joins. And that's, to me, Scotty, that's the big thing. Like, Edmonton, if somebody would have said at the start of the series that after 3 games, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, and Bouchard would have no goals, most people would have said, well, you're clueless. Like, they're going to score something, and they have nothing to show for it. And maybe that's a good thing, right? Like, because the odds are, as much as the odds are against them to win 4 in a row, the odds are in their favor that their big guys should start scoring.
Yeah, it's all about confidence right now, right? And just gripping that stick, and it just seems like they are playing well too, right? You got to give credit to Florida; they're jamming them up. There's guys in the middle of that box. You can't do the seam passes that they've been known to do, especially during the regular season, right? So it's you gotta get in there. You gotta get grinding. You gotta the tip in goal. last night it was huge, right? So you got to get those dirty goals where you're kind of banging away and do whatever you need to get it done, right? You're at home, you got to use that energy. You need some big stops there by Skin Daddy and Net, and hopefully you can play with the lead for once, because I don't think they've done that for very long this year or this finals.
No, not at all. And that definitely does make a difference about it. I don't know if you'd ever been, I don't think you'd ever been down 3-0 in a series before, Scott. And, Corey Perry said, like, last night after the game, which, like most games, like right after that, it's brutal, right? It's somber, it's terrible, you lose. Was there a player? Was there anybody? I know you're a pretty emotional guy. Like, was there anything said in the room that kind of just jump-started guys outside of that player-only meeting?
Prongs was there. He was a big leader. Timo Timonen, and he, spoke up quite a bit as well. Mike Richards, Carter, more of the silent leaders, how they played. But, I think the consensus was, like, we deserve a better fate in if not 2 or all 3 of these games, right? So you gotta kind of hang your hat on something. You can't just say we're beat, they're better. They're feeling it. Their goalie's unbeatable. You gotta have a big time belief in yourself and your abilities, your teammates. You look around, you got to go to war, right? So it's a little frustrating that they're in this position that they're in, but it is what it is. You got to deal with it, and it's not like no one's ever done it before. Like, there's 3-4 hockey teams that have done it. The Kings did it after we did it in 2010, so it is doable. And it's the whole world right now with everything, every eye on this series. It should be a pretty special time if they get a win, and then you never know. Florida might pucker up a little bit and you go in there and steal another one and brings it back to Edmonton again. But you can't do that. Come Saturday night, you gotta just win one and push it to Florida.
A lot of people wonder how you can be so hyper focused, but to me, it doesn't seem that difficult. Like, I think at the start of every series, you're not thinking at the end. You're only thinking kind of in the moment. And really, that's what hockey players and most professional athletes, like, you're taught from focus on the game, right? We have one game. I can't worry about who we're playing down the road. Now, maybe in the regular season, sometimes you might look if it's a big rivalry game or something, maybe. But is it that difficult to really focus on one game, or is that kind of easy because that's what you do in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's win or you're done, right? I'm sure everyone wearing an Oilers uniform is banged up in some way or another, right? You got to believe that there's some injuries that they're playing through and that kind of stuff. We'll find more after it's all said and done. But, look at Florida last year where they had Ekblad and Montour for surgeries. Kachuk broke his sternum, and, they ran out of steam against, Vegas. So who knows if that's, the case there with the Oilers. But you got to believe that, the depth guys can come big and your big boys can play big for a game, and you get a couple days rest to heal up and get going again. But, it's one game. It's do or die, as they say. There's a lot of times that cliche doesn't really work out, but it's very, very potent right now for the Oilers.
When you look at, Scott, and of course you're doing a lot of analyst work on the NHL Network, so I'm sure you watch the game a lot more intently now than just some other former players. You look at Florida's, what has impressed you most about what they've done defensively as a team?
It's their D zone, right? When they're it's kind of hard for the Oilers to get in the D zone or in the offensive zone for them, number one. But they're just so quick on attacking pucks, and if someone looks like they're in a vulnerable position, they're almost there before they even realize they're kind of fumbling that puck. McDavid, they always have one guy lurking to kind of surprise sneak attack against him. You watch the highlights, you kind of have a little bit of epiphany what he's going to do, right? Whether he's going to cut back or go this way or that way. So they're trying to anticipate that, right? Which is frustrating him a little bit, which is not he's not getting the time and space to make that unbelievable pass. And the best players in the world could do special things, but when all the Panthers' eyes are on him and they're doing this, it's hard, right? So you can't really fault him, but you need the other big boys to step up as well. So it's just like they're almost a half a second sharper in their mind and almost a full step quicker in that D zone. And then when they get that puck turned over, just like on that first goal, by Reinhardt. It's Barkov, a nice little poke check, gets it out, and they're off to the races.
Yeah, and you know what? The players themselves admitted that last night was a game where you kind of gift goals, and in the playoffs it's really hard.
Yep.
Scotty, you can't gift goals, and like Florida is making Edmonton work for their goals, and the Oilers just, that's always kind of been their Achilles heel. I thought in the regular season for long stretches they were able to get that out of their game. How do you, I'm sure you've played on teams where for whatever reason you'd play great for 20, 30 minutes and then you would just make one big error and boom, it's in the back of your net.
And it seems like it's been one or two guys for the Oilers too, which makes it hard too, right? A soft little backhand pass by Darnell Nurse and a great play, a backdoor snipe, and it's like, oh my gosh, again, like how does this happen? And then you let your foot off the gas a little bit and bang, bang, there's a couple more in your net. So it's you got to be sharp. Those most important shifts are after a goal that's scored against you, right? So it's just a little frustrating, to see those mistakes kind of being made and then made again and all that. So
Scott Hartnell joins us. Scott, if you're the Edmonton Oilers and it's the one game, how important is like a start tomorrow night that you don't want to blow your brains out, but at the same time, like you got to play desperate? Zach Hyman said, there's no pressure anymore. Everybody's counting us out. Do you feel that, or is that things that just guys say in the moment? Like, is there more pressure? Do you find there's less pressure when you're like, well, everybody thinks we're going to lose? How did you approach it?
Well, I think that first goal is huge. 100% next game, right? If the Oilers get it, it'll be like, to Florida, they might have to press, right? And then you might get another one, sneak one by them. There's been chances on the power play, right? And they've been absolutely silent on the power play, which has kind of been their, MO all season long. You get a few power plays, you're getting at least one or two, during the, playoffs and in the regular season. So you got to make that count, number one. But, getting that first two goals, it'll kind of make everyone kind of, settle in and have that confidence to play, like the Oilers want to play. It might open up Florida a little bit, which might leave them exposed too on the defensive side of things. So that's going to be huge. Those first couple goals, the first few minutes of the game, 100%.
And one last one for you. I want to get your thoughts on the Flyers and their off season. It's it's probably going to be a rather important off season for them. There's obviously the Carter Hart situation if they qualify him or not, but that's kind of different. But when you look at the Flyers, what do you see as areas of real need this off season that they're going to have to try to fill?
I would try and sign Sean Walker back. He was incredible for the Flyers last year. They traded him to Colorado at the deadline there. They got a first round draft pick back, but he was huge for me, just how he was so poised, how he could skate, join the rush, break the puck out, that first pass, everything you want in a right-handed shot defenseman. So, I think it might be a little tricky because there's probably 15, 20 other teams that, might try and take a run at him as well. So, that would be, trying to get a defenseman to steady things back in the back end. We all know how important that is, for every good team has at least two or three, really, really solid defensemen. And goaltending will be a big issue there. That Fedotov that came over from Russia last year, Carter Hart, who knows what's going to happen there. And then Sam Ersson, who played, pretty solid, but, hasn't been a proven number one as well. So you got to take care of the defensive zone, like Tortorella likes to play that, just some solid lockdown hockey. So that's, you got to score goals too. So, you try and do something there as well. So I guess the whole caboodle there, but it's, I think the back end, they got to shore that up for sure.
And one last one, Scotty, you started with the Preds, you ended your career with the Nashville Predators. There's lots of talk about UC Saros, unbelievable goaltender. Do you think they would trade him, or are they better off re-signing him to an extension?
Goaltending, they do have some good goalies down the pipeline, but if you can get a big forward and maybe a draft pick for him, because it's such a tough position to fill with an elite goaltender like that, and he's proven to do it as well too. But you hear the rumors of Marner for him, 1 for 1. You got to have some guts to pull that off. Barry Trotz, he's got a lot of guts as well, right? He was my coach for a while there, and he slid into this position and bought out a few guys last year and doing what he's doing, trying to revamp that team. So maybe he does pull the trigger, but it's one of those positions that are so in such a high demand that you could even get something more for that.
Scotty, great to catch up with you, my man. Hope things are well. Continued success on the NHL Network. Enjoy watching your work there, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. That is Scott Hartnell, of course, from Lloydminster. Man, that guy was a hard-nosed player, man. He played hard. Really good character guy. Right? Like, funny in his room, very well liked from lots of his teammates. Sick flow, too. And you know what? I thought really good insight. If you look at that Flyers team in 2010, if you go back and you look at their games, again, like, none of their games were blowouts. Their games were similar to Edmonton, where Edmonton, I think it's fair, they could at least have won game 1 or game 3. I don't think they played that poor that you can look and say, oh, they were overwhelmed. Not at all. Like, look at the scoring chances. They had way more chances in Florida last night. But part of your game is you just can't have the glaring errors that they had last night. Like Stu Skinner on that second goal. Can't happen. Darnell Nurse on the third goal. Bouchard, Ekholm, and McDavid trifecta on the first goal. Just can't have it. And, as Hyman said today, they make us work for all our goals. We've given them too many freebies. So eliminate the freebies. That will help and go a long way. And then, of course, your big guns, like as Hartnell just said, your big guns got to get going. At the end of the day, it's not that they're playing terrible, but they're producing nothing goal-wise. Right? So, yeah, you can play well, but this isn't the regular season where you can play the odds and, if you keep getting more shots, eventually it goes your way. Well, no, not in a series. You got to get 8 shots and win, just like they did in Game 6 against Dallas, right? It doesn't matter. You just need goals. Got to outscore them. So that's going to be the key. When we come back, we will talk more about, what should be the focal point for the Edmonton Oilers to ensure that they're in the right mindset heading into Game 4. Discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Steal.
Let's bring it home. This is Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel.
Thanks,
lawn,
Jason.
and oil field.
Anything going on in town this week?
Find a
There.
trailer
Did
right
my
for you
very
online
best to lighten the
or one of their
mood.
3 locations.
3 games
For
to
sales,
nada.
service,
I
parts, rental, and finance.
I get it.
And you're in
But
for the
really,
long haul.
I mean, really,
Edmonton Trailer.
I think the series is over. Now, the Oilers winning the Stanley unbeaten streak.
As one of Alberta's top turning
The
courses,
Oilers went on
Imagine
earlier.
is hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Edmonton Stingers basketball face the Ottawa Blackjacks Thursday, June 20th at the Edmonton Expo Center. Enjoy affordable family fun with a $5 food and drink menu and free parking. Tickets start at just $20. Visit thestingers.ca/tickets.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It's City Ford's Father's Day event. Join us this Saturday for a barbecue, indoor golf, games, and gifts for your dad.
During this Father's Day event, get massive discounts up to $22,000 on brand new F-150s, up to $8,000 on Edges and Broncos, up to $4,700 on brand new Escapes. Plus, 0% financing options are available. Just pick what's best for you.
Get a 2024 Bronco Sport for $209 bi-weekly, or a 2023 F-150 Super Crew for only $297 bi-weekly.
We have 17 previously owned SUVs, all under $500 a month, like a 2020 all-wheel drive Escape, only $187 bi-weekly. Plus, we have trucks galore. Get a 2021 F-150 Super Crew for only $258 bi-weekly.
Exclusive to City Ford. With every purchase, spin and win a barbecue, pressure washer, TV, pizza oven, or a trip to Vegas.
Join us this Saturday for a Father's Day barbecue, indoor golf, cornhole toss, giant pong game, ice cream sundaes, fun for the entire family, and a gift for your dad. But it's only at City Ford on the St. Albert Trail.
Positive Friday continues on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Got a lot of texts coming in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox, where, of course, they are your partner in power. That's eWell. So check out the new website that puts power in your hands with 24/7 ordering right now, EWEL.ca. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. We welcome in Olympic gold medalist Lorie-Ann Muenzer, who also coming up on the 20th anniversary of her gold medal this summer at the Summer Olympics. And she has a book. Now, are we allowed to talk about what you're doing with your book? Are we allowed to talk about that? Yeah. So you're going to have an audio version, correct? That you're putting out? Like an updated one? Now, does it have any new things?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I am thinking about, as I'm going through each chapter, it's like, oh, I forgot about that. And it's like, oh, yeah. And there's a few stories that did not make it into the book. And I'm thinking about, you know what, I think it'd be cool to have, what do they call it in audio world? I don't know if it's like outtakes or maybe it's the extras.
Sure.
And I think that would be pretty cool and pretty fun. So it's, we're bringing back the book. It's been out of print for, 10, 15 years. The publisher went bankrupt, so I'm resurrecting it. 3rd edition.
There you go.
And we're going to raise the bar.
Okay, nice. The Oilers, and I know we were talking to, they have George Mumford who works with them, on mental preparation and different things like that, and listening to the players and watching them, because sometimes people can say stuff where they're saying it because they feel like they have to say it, and then there's a time where they say it and they truly believe it. And I really believe the Oilers still feel they can win, and they believe that and win one game, because you can't worry today about Game 7. You can only worry about Game 4.
Absolutely.
Right? And how do you know, when people genuinely believe it over just saying it because, well, we should say it?
There's a feeling that comes with it, Jason, and it can either be mechanical or it's like you walk it, you talk it, you eat it, you sleep it, you do everything, and it emits from your body. And that's part of the point of where you can tell if somebody's faking it or if they really are all in.
Okay.
And that's the one thing, is at first it's mechanical because it's not usual, right? And then as you start to work it, as you start to visualize it, that's the key component, is a visualization.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't see it in your mind, you're never going to see it in your physical world. That's one of the things that I'm always working with. So I'm sure, like Connor is saying to the guys, is see the plays in your mind first before we're on the ice. Because if you can see it so many times, you're going to be able to execute it at lightning speed when it comes your way.
When you have the top guys who aren't used to not scoring, it might be a simple thing. Like I know Vinny Desharnais said when Paul Coffey came in, he just showed them all, and him specifically. It wasn't, oh, here's Evan Bouchard making a play. He would say, no, here's Vinny making the play, and you see it yourself. If you were, the order, would you have a video montage and have McDavid and Draisaitl and all those guys sit in on it and just shows, the great goals they've scored on the power play or key goals they've scored that were kind of similar to how they feel they need to score against Florida?
I think that's part of it. And I think that could be a definite asset because as you see it, then you can make the mental move. And maybe you see something and you go, okay, yeah, that's a Draisaitl move. I'm going to make it. And then you start to embody that. But then it's you put your particular flair out and you make it yours because there's never going to be two Draisaitl's. There's just one. There's one McDavid, right? There's one Bouchard. And you have to take it and you have to own it and you have to make it your own. So seeing it is another part that will actually go into your subconscious mind. And the more that you work it, the more that you visualize it, the more that you practice in those moments is actually when you start to recreate it in physical form.
So for the players as they prepare for the game tomorrow, you can't, and I know we've talked about this, like people who focus, you can't be too focused for too long. It doesn't work, right? You want to take your mind off of, like tonight, maybe you're watching basketball, maybe you're doing anything about it because, you've done all the preparation for a year. But tomorrow, when does it start? And maybe it's different for other players, but does it start when they arrive at the rink at 3 o'clock for the pregame? Does it start in the morning? Like, do you need positive reinforcement throughout the day? What do you think works best?
I know for me, it was as soon as I woke up, I walked into that role. I owned that role. And you literally, Jason, have to walk it, talk it, be it. But it's like what you said at the start is you cannot expend too much, but then you can't be on the other flip side where it's not enough. And one of the things that my coach always said to me, like going to the Olympics, even the first time and then the second time is it's just another race. And that's the same thing I would say to the guys is, look, it's just another game. Because one, it takes the pressure off going, oh my God, it's a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah, my God, we're down 3-0. We have to win.
Well, this is game 7 and we got to do it how many times? 4 times, right? This is the first one here. So it's part of that mindset. But then if I was Connor as captain, right, I would ask each individual player here, what do you need? Like, what do you need? And everybody, Jason, is going to need something different. And it could be just a word. It could be that look, right? And there's something that everybody can connect with each other. And sometimes just that one more, it puts all of us back into, we're going to play the Oiler game. We're not playing the Panther game. We're playing the Oiler game. And that's what it comes down to is instead of trying to, figure out all the different moves and get fancy, go back to the basics and play the Oil game. Like literally go back to the basics. And that is what wins games because it's the simple stuff that you just shift it a little bit, but you go back to the basics. That's what wins games. That's what wins Stanley Cups.
Lorie-Ann Muenzer joins us. Well, if you look at the orders and what lost them the game yesterday, and they talked about it, and I think anybody who watched the game would agree, they gave up too many freebies, right? Mm-hmm. And like, it's supposed to be hard to win, but if you make it easier a little bit for the opposition, well, now you're at a big disadvantage because Florida hasn't made it easy. Florida hasn't really gifted Edmonton goals. Now, they've gifted them chances. There's no question. Like if you look at some of the mistakes Florida made yesterday that led to Edmonton chances, Edmonton just didn't bear their chances. So I give Bobrovsky a lot of credit for sure. Mm-hmm. But even then, their chances weren't as, it's not like Bobrovsky fumbles it behind the net and now you got pretty much an empty net to shoot at, right? So there's different levels of it. And so as a group where like that has always kind of been Edmonton's MO for the last 5 or 6 years. Play very well for a long stretch and then boop, throw a grenade in your own zone or wherever, and it ends up in the back of your net, right? It's self-destruction. I've kind of joked. I thought the Oilers were the best self-destructive team in the league. Like no one could gift goals more often than the Oilers. And unfortunately, haven't seen it a lot, but boom, it came back. How do you ensure that gets out of your mind so you're not gifting goals in game 4?
Well, number one, last night, this morning, today, whatever, I hope all the guys have just unloaded, just totally unloaded whatever the thoughts are and just let it rip. And then you've got to unload it, because if you're keeping it and holding it inside, it's going to manifest in bad ways. So it's like, okay, get rid of it, expel it. And then, okay, let's get back on track here. No pun intended, but you've got a game to play, and let's go back, do what it is that you do. You know what it is that you need to do. Don't even think about it's the Stanley Cup Finals. It's just another game.
But that's got to be easier said than done.
It is, but it's practice. It's not the first time they've done it. It's the first time maybe as a collective they're here. It's the Stanley Cup. It's the finals. So what are you going to do? And it's like, I was listening to the clips that you're playing. I love Coach Carter. Oh my gosh, that movie was so good. I could just watch it and watch it and watch it. And it's the same thing like, who is it? Gerard Butler in 300. We're Spartacus, right?
Yeah.
Or Spartans. And it's just, there's certain moments. It's like you look at Miracle on Ice. Give me another one. So my question is, are you all in? Are you willing to burn the boats? Are you willing to burn the bridges, everything, and go, I'm going to run myself into the ground. I'm going to play until I cannot play anymore.
Yeah. And, as a coach, you probably are going to get a sense early on of which guys have it and maybe which guys don't. We heard Scott Hartnell talk about when you're down, like that first goal is crucial if you can get it, and just get the lead, and maybe it alleviates some of the pressure. And
it does.
It's funny that Florida's up 3-0, because I would look at, hey, they're really confident, and history's on their side. There's no question. But, the whole goal at times is to maybe plant a small seed of doubt. So if I'm the Edmonton Oilers and I'm up, let's say they actually have a 2-goal lead or whatever, I think I want to keep trying to get the other one, because maybe your team realizes, well, Bobrovsky isn't a robot. Like, you can beat him more than just, on deflection goals. Fogle beat him on a clear shot. So it's possible. You just have to find to do it.
Yeah. And it's just finding that momentum there, right? It's not a game of inches. It's literally a game of splitting hairs right now. And it comes down to that fine-tuned stuff. And it's like, okay, are you all in, or are you going to have to pinch yourself and like get you back to that level again? And there's a feeling, Jason, with this, and you got to bite the bullet.
Lorie-Ann, it should be fun. The Oilers, it'll be nerve-wracking for their fans, but all you got to do is win one. And now all of a sudden, if they win one, then they have slight momentum heading into Game 5. Right?
Yep, absolutely. And it's not the first time that we've seen them when it's like do or die. And I also think that this might be one of their flair things of just going, okay, now we're going to put it together and we're going to build on it and we're going to stoke the fire and we're just going to go all in. That's what I see coming down the pipe.
Awesome. Lorie-Ann, thanks for this. That is Lorie-Ann Muenzer, Olympic gold medalist, coming up 20-year anniversary later on this summer of her gold medal in 2004. Coming up after 3 o'clock, Sean Brown is going to join us on the show. We also have a little bit later on. I think, are we going to get Rem the Gem? I think so. Craig Button will be by, Speck, Low Tide, Livingston, lots more. You've been waiting for it. It's a motivational speech. Get you in the right frame of mind. You got to have a little fun at sports, right? You can be all negative about it. What's that going to do? Is that going to make you feel better? It rarely makes you feel better. Some people who I find are the fun sponges and the pessimists, they want others to feel bad like them. Don't get sucked into that. There'll be lots of time to talk about what changes the Oilers can make. Now's not the time. They're not making any changes. Right? Now's the time to think, what can the Oilers do to win? Big guns got to get going. No question. Eliminate the freebies. If they can do those two things, the Oilers' chances of winning, like, what do they multiply? 3-4 times? So we'll see if they can do it tomorrow. Let's get to the Command Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 2 CFL action down at Commonwealth tonight as the Elks taking on the Montreal Alouettes. Kickoff on that one set for 7 o'clock. We've got Game 4 in the NBA Finals. Mavs and Celtics meeting in Dallas. Boston leading that series 3-0. That one gets going at 6:30 in the majors. The Jays kicking off a weekend series with the Cleveland Guardians. First pitch 5:07 in Toronto. Those teams meeting tomorrow just after 1 o'clock. And then at 11:30, you can hear both those games on Sports 1440 on our AM feed only. Victoria's in town to take on the Riverhawks tonight. Ellington's going at 7 o'clock. You've also got the Edmonton Stingers taking on Calgary. Tip-off at 7 in that one down in Calgary. WNBA, Sky and Mystics meeting at 5:30. You also have the Sparks taking on the Lynx. At Euro 2024, Germany with a great start. They defeat Scotland 5-1. And at the U.S. Open right now, Patrick Cantley and Ludwig Aberg sitting at 5 under par. You've got Thomas Dutry, Bryson DeChambeau, and Matthew Pavon sitting at 4 under. As for the Canadians in the field right now, Corey Connors at the top. He is even. Taylor Pendrith currently 1 over par. Adam Svensson is +3. Adam Hadwin 5 over par. Looks like he's going to miss the cut, as will Nick Taylor, who is currently 8 over. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by former NHLer Sean Brown, and we'll speed things up in the Cantork Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Mr. Ruther does a TED Talk.
Thank you for coming today. Let's talk about it. Pressure. Everyone in this room feels pressure. But let me tell you something about pressure. I'd rather feel too much pressure than not enough. You know why? Because low pressure often means you have corroded pipes, impaired water lines, or a calcified shower head. And who needs that? I'm Mr. Ruther, and this has been my TED Talk.
For an inspirational plumber, call Mr. Ruther.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its third season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest-growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Hi, Jason Gregor for Volvo of Edmonton. This summer, lease the new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance, or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 Recharge plug-in models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. 1205 101st Street Southwest, or visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
Hi, it's Jason Gregor. We're looking for an experienced salesperson to join us as we continue to grow the Sports 1440 brand across the province. Of course, you'll sell Mornings with Carius, Low Tide Show, The Frenzy, as well as my show. No radio sales experience is needed, but you need some sales experience. You have to love sports, and you must be a hunter and driven. The base salary plus commissions for this great opportunity, and trust me, you'll have loads of fun working with us. Email your resume to gregor@sports1440.ca. We look forward to having you on the team.
Diablo Boots has been open for business for 60 years, selling Canadian-made quality boots. Diablo has Canada West work, biker, and cowboy boots with fixable soles and heels. So why buy boots like Area, Justin, or Red Wing that are made in China? Get your money's worth with Diablo's Canada West tough, comfortable work boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. And does Diablo sell the best boots in town? You betcha.
Elevate your drive with spectacular savings at Windermere Chrysler. Get 10% off the rugged 2024 Ram 1500, the luxurious Grand Cherokee, or the versatile Durango. Thinking bigger? Opt for a heavy-duty truck and enjoy a no-charge diesel upgrade. Or take advantage of no payments for 90 days on select 2024s. Visit us today and explore these offers in our breathtaking new showroom.
The choice is clear.
It's Windermere.
Visit windermeredodge.ca.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for those watching along online on Twitter as well. We appreciate it. It's a fun time. I know, Oilers fans, it's not the position you thought your team would be in. You didn't think they would lose last night. It happens. And now can't change it. So it's all about can they win one game? And then can they win another one game? Right? 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 would be 4. Right? You can't say, oh, they got to win 4. No, they got to win 1 first, because you can't win the 4th one until you win the 1st one. You can't win the 2nd one until you win the 1st one. Then you can't win the 3rd one until you win the 2nd one. So that's how it goes. 833-401-1440 and get us in our text line, 833-401-1440, as we welcome to the show former NHLer, former AJHL head coach and GM, skills coach. He has some stick handling machines, and not that he ever used one when he was a kid, but has some now. Sean Brown joins us. Brownie, how you doing?
Yeah, you imagine where I'd be if I did use them?
You might have been a forward.
Could have been. I was at different times. They're trying anywhere to put me in the lineup. I could have tried goalie.
Oh yeah. And now just a reminder, you can move that to put yourself in a comfortable position.
Do I not look? That's the second time you said that. Do I look uncomfortable?
Well,
I
feel you always lean back. You're like leaning forward to talk, and then you you can move the mic so you can just stay in a comfortable position.
I feel comfortable. Okay. I do move around more than you do move around.
That's okay. Yeah, you're just jittery.
I'm a jittery.
Okay.
I'm not as comfortable as you are at this. And I'm hot. I'm hot. To drive in here today, I'm sweating. I don't normally sweat like that, but I'm hot.
What, do you have AC?
Yeah, but I like the windows down. I like the fresh air.
Oh, nice. We had Scott Hartnell on earlier, member of the 2010 Flyers. We all know what the odds are, but if the players, they talk about, hey, no one thinks we're going to win, and they've kind of tried to create this us against them mentality. Whatever floats your boat to make it work. I think there's lots of people that have thought Edmonton was a good team all year. There's no one's ever believed in us. Stop, okay? Pretty sure you got a pretty big fan base that's believed in you lots of times this year. If you only ever want to focus on the ones who haven't, go right ahead. But I've always been perplexed by that thinking. However, there's not many who think I'm sure there'd be most people now who's oh, geez, I know what the odds are, but I'm probably not betting on the Oilers to win now. I get it. But to bet on to win one game, well, that might be a different thing. And the Oilers, I looked at the 2022 series when they got swept by Colorado. That wasn't a close series. Colorado was clearly the better team. Florida's been very good. I give them tons of credit, but they're not dominating the Oilers, right? It's not night in, night out where it's eventually Florida just takes over the game. Last night, Edmonton had 6 minutes of crap hockey, and they gifted them 2 of those 3 goals, right? So, you know what? I think it's a little easier for the Oilers to convince themselves, not even have to convince themselves that hard, that we're competitive in this series. We just have to stop beating ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's got to be a little bit frustrating from Coach Knobloch's point of view, is that they are, we see it. They are doing a lot of great things, as you said. They're getting lots of scoring opportunities. They're getting looks on the power play, 5-on-5. The top players are getting looks, and if you're trying, it's a game of mistakes. It's when you make the mistakes, and right now, yeah, they're capitalizing on some of those mistakes. But they, this team was all but dead earlier in the season, so there's lots of there's no quit, I guess, right? And yeah, they are searching, for motivation, and it is whatever it is they can grab onto. It doesn't matter how corny it could be. It's necessary. It is the playoffs too. It's it's one game, one shift. And, because guys are so beat up, you don't know what other guys are dealing with on the other side. And you're one shot, maybe going off the goalies. I don't want to see anyone get hurt, but, maybe it goes off Bobrovsky's collarbone, or someone falls on him, or he tweaks something as he's stretching across. Like, there's always something that could happen each game, each period. That could change the whole momentum of the whole series. But they definitely got their work cut out for them. You got to be impressed with Florida, and the fact that they're bending, they're not breaking, and they're playing a really hard, aggressive, in your face, smothering, uncomfortable style of hockey. And it makes it tough. I'm watching guys, right? I mean, there's guys that typically are pretty poised with the puck in certain situations. They're giving up pucks in certain situations because they've been relentless on their forecheck from the first game to the third game, right? And it's paying off for them. But having said that, those are all things that, the Oilers can do as well. I mean, it's making guys pay, and, it's just like making a deposit in the bank. You're just, little bits at a time add up, and Florida's done a good chance. But yeah, I mean, Edmonton can definitely do that as well.
And the other thing is, like, I know it's the Stanley Cup Finals. I was talking to Zach Hyman today just about, like, it's still hockey. And, you say it's just another game. Well, if it's just another game, then guys got to be coming to the rink laughing. Somebody's got to be joking around, because the minute you try to act like, or you say that it's just another game, but then you don't act like that way, where you're not having fun. And you know what? I don't know if there was a guy, there's a guy on every team who's in charge of the music. There's usually one or two guys who are in charge of the pranks. Well, you know what? You got to be doing that stuff for sure before that game, because you want to try to keep it as normal as possible, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? That's why on the show today, I was wondering, like, would you ever play some funny speeches, things that get guys going? Like, you can have your coach do it, but maybe sometimes it's better to just play one that everybody knows that some of them are comical and some of them are, like, really inspirational and get guys going.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as fans, we don't get quite to see what it looks like in the dress room, and that's not something, that we get access to. But, I guarantee you there's some real characters in there. And at the end of the day, it is a game. I mean, you got to have fun with it. And I'm sure they got guys that are in there right now doing different things to keep it light and keep it loose by acting all pissed off and having a sad face doesn't necessarily mean that you care more than another guy that's having a good time. Like, it, you can't get that confused, I don't think. Right. So, I've been on lots of teams where, you have guys, whether it's through music or a little bit of a gag, or, someone does something where you come in the morning and there's a little, I don't know, the big thing for us, or one of the big things, was kind of cutting a guy's stick, and goes out on the ice and uses it and goes to take a shot, and it snaps. I don't know if you want to do that with one pieces, but you that's the one thing, actually, when we used to go into different cities, if I had friends and family and different things that would come watch skates, pregame skates, and be able to come down to their dressing room, was what they were actually surprised on how loose and,
well, they have to be.
Yeah. And it's not, as much as you'd be surprised, these guys, it's a job, but it's something they love doing. They love coming to the room, the atmosphere and the environment that all rooms have and all rinks have, is pretty special. And if it was uptight and tense all the time, man, that'd be a miserable year. And I think it just, I'd say the training staff to everyone in there is very loose today. But, when it comes, everyone knows when it's business and when it's time to dial it in and take things serious. But, on a day off and a game in between, regardless of a score, yeah, they would be pretty loose.
Now, here's a clip. We've talked about this one. If you want to feel like you're down out, there's a lot of pressure. The pressure is building. You're in the Stanley Cup Final. maybe they need to summon one of the greatest actors of a generation with one of the most memorable pre-game type speeches. What's great about the movies is a lot of people think these type of speeches happen all the time in the room, and they don't, right? Rarely, because you would need a coach who could really do it and pull it off, because the worst is when a coach is trying and he's not good at it. You're just like, oh. Well, then it almost becomes comical and it kind of relieves the pressure in a way. But here, I know, Brownie, this was when we asked you one of your faves. Well, here's one of your faves. Many of you have been asking for it. I'm not even going to intro who it is because I think you'll know.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I mean, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you. Oh, yeah. You're going to see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. Right? That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys.
There you go. Woo! Little Any Given Sunday. Brownie's doing stretches over here, just ready to roll. Hey, just ready to jump through it.
You know what? I was just thinking back at some of the speeches. You know, there's.
Do you have a memorable speech from a coach that you still kind of, or a teammate that you're like, oh, all right, that one got us going?
Yeah, I mean, when we were in the Calder Cup Finals there in the American Hockey League, Lauren Mulliken brought us in Hamilton there, and before we got in there, he lit a bunch of candles, and we all got bullets, and we talked about a brotherhood and going to war and going fighting for each other. I thought he did a really good job with that. I think too, like when you can humanize it and
yeah. Like when Pacino in his speech, when he talked about his, screwing on things,
his shortcomings. Yeah. I think anytime, and that's what the season does, right? I think that's what, a coach, there's a whole season that builds up to where they are right now. And I think that's what you'd be drawing on, right? Is the adversity that they fought through, the challenges, and the question marks on, certain individuals, and, it's, whether it's us against them, and then there's obviously some dynamics off the ice that we probably don't even know about that, you would bring in, and then you bring in a couple F-bombs and, away you go. But that whole care, comes from the whole season as a whole. But one of the guys too that was, I thought he was by far the best at delivering speeches, and having a way to connect everyone and having a way of making everyone feel like he was, talking directly to you was Lou Lamoriello.
Oh, really?
He was like off the charts good at, giving you positive feedback, being, hard when he had to be. There was no blurry lines with him. And even when he was very approachable, but you really had to have, your facts together when you were talking with him. If you were in there, maybe trying to get, some opportunity, or if you felt like you were being slighted in some way, because he knew everything and he had an answer for everything. And I swear he had a binder, because one time I went in there and I was like, okay, you know what? I felt like I deserved, maybe a few extra minutes or maybe some opportunity. And I was pleading my case, and I'm looking at him, and I probably shouldn't have done it after a game. I was very emotional.
All right.
And I probably should have took a day off and thought about it, but I decided not to. And I just, he just went in, he went so calmly into his desk and pulled out a binder. And he was just going through his notes, because he took notes of our games, our practices, and he almost had a rating system.
Okay.
Right. And he just brought up facts and information about, why I was getting or why I was not getting what I felt like I deserved. And, I had this plan of attack, or not, I shouldn't say attack, but of a case. And I walked out of there with basically my tail between my legs, just, being like, wow. And I remember coming home or meeting up with my wife, and, we were just kind of chatting, and she's like, how did it go? And I was just like, man, I could not get a word in edgewise on this guy. Like, he's incredible, and I have so much respect for that guy, just because of how fair he was, how, like he just treated people really well. He knew, and he was accountable. He was fair. He was firm. And he just had a way of talking to guys. And whether it was when he came in and was giving guys trouble or praise, if he was talking to us as a whole, I swear Marty Brodeur felt uncomfortable. He just had a way of lumping us all in, being like, man, I don't want to disappoint this guy. Or is he talking about me? Am I the weak link? Am I that guy? Yeah. Everyone had that feeling when he would leave, being like, man, we got to man up and we got to be better.
Jason Gregor, Sean Brown here on Sports 1440. A lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440. When we return, you'll hear from Zach Hyman, Corey Perry, and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds, recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca. At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling Jingle auditions take one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready.
Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
We freaking killed it, Nuge.
That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Warmer, brighter days can make you crave something to sip. Booster Juice is busting out booster mixers, the summer fixers. Cold, tasty sippers in 5 vibrant varieties. The Mango Teaser, Berry Teaser, Almighty Acai, Game Set Matcha, and Oranges and Cream. Try all 5 and brighten your day a sip at a time. And try the Cookies and Cream Booster Ball, the yummy little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small iced coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes flavored iced coffee and delivery.
$329 Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. We got a few texts coming in, 833-401-1440. We'll get to Zach Hyman. Also, we'll hear from Corey Perry and a few others. Hey, guys, I keep hearing everybody saying how great Florida is defensively, but if they're so great, how come Edmonton's getting so many more quality chances? Nick, it's exactly what I said earlier in the show. When you look at how many breakaways Edmonton's had in 3 games, now, up until Fogle, they never scored. And so I think right now Bobrovsky is making Florida. Everybody remembers the saves and the non-goals, which is valid because that's what determines a game. But I really don't think Florida has been this defensive juggernaut that has squeezed the life out of Edmonton offensively. Edmonton's got a lot of good looks, and they're not finishing. And that's a big problem. And really, it's like Bobrovsky he'll be a unanimous winner if they win. Unanimous choice for the Conn Smythe. It's not even close on Florida's side. Like, I'm sorry, it's not.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like some of the saves he's made last night and really in the series have been outstanding and have covered up for a lot of the errors and a lot of the, like, Edmonton's been able to beat Florida in a lot of areas and just can't finish.
Yeah, every push it seems that the Oilers have, he's got the answer for them, right? And yeah, I mean, it's just they're getting all the guys are getting the looks. You look at the depth guys, you look at Broberg and Fogle, different guys down the lineup that have got points, but McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, those guys are getting looks, and the biggest difference right now is the big save, right? And then Florida just doesn't bend or break, right? They bend
because their goalie makes it.
Yeah,
look
but
like
every
they don't.
goalie, every good goalie makes every team look good.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Right?
Good
And
goalies.
yeah, and they are making mistakes. They're just not capitalizing, but they're quick to get their game back too. When they do get away from their game and there's a push, they find a way. They stick to what they need to do. They stay on the forecheck. They stay hard on pucks, and they're uncomfortable, and they get it back.
Yeah. You look at time of possession, like Edmonton's had way more. Edmonton's just their lack of finish right now, and their power play. Because I think when we had Adam Oates in the show last, he talked about how the cookies for the offensive guys. You just feel better about yourself when you get goals and points, and it starts in the power play. And then that bleeds into your 5-on-5 play. And I think like Leon Draisaitl looks like a player, despite being one of the best offensive players in the game, who's been a dominant offensive force. Now, I've heard a few different things. I think Draisaitl's banged up.
I think they are all banged up, are they not?
But significantly banged up. And because his shot, he hasn't been able to elevate his one-timer. And if you look early in the playoffs, look at those goals. They were shown at sharp angle, and he does it consistently.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a Draisaitl one-timer that went in the top third of the net?
Yeah. So someone did make reference. I don't know if it was Ray or yourself about that. He did have a chance, and he kind of flubbed on it a little bit, right? So
yeah.
I mean, this is that time of year where, like I said, I mean, I think everybody's got something that they're dealing with right now. Is this a sign of a team? Is this a sign like the Stanley Cup playoffs and the playoffs, are two different things? Is this a sign of one team getting there and not quite understanding what it takes, and a Florida team that was there got beat and is like, hey, I got some. They have the experience now, and they understand the grit and the business mentality.
Maybe, but I also think Florida was banged up. Like when you're hurt,
you're hurt.
It's not about experience. It's not like, oh, geez, I really need to, because there's certain things that just limit what you can do, right? Like Matthew Tkachuk, really, I haven't noticed Tkachuk in this series. Have you noticed Matthew Tkachuk make it? Like the only time you notice him is when the refs come in a scrum, and then he's really he's a dog on a bone when the refs are around, right? Or is there Zach Hyman on the ice and I have a defenseman on him? Okay, now I can jump in on, or sorry, it's Corey Perry, right? But honestly, have you noticed Matthew Tkachuk making any sort of impact in this game when it comes to passing? Or not really. Like I've noticed Reinhart, I've noticed Bennett, I've noticed Barkov, right? I've noticed Rodrigue. I'm not noticing Tkachuk. So, and he was hurt last year, but he's not. To me, he's kind of been a non-factor in the series for Florida.
You need a little bit of luck, right? You need a little bit of luck. You can't be banged up, and it's sometimes the games that you play or the games you don't play are just as important as the games you do play, right? It's how you get there. But I agree. I think Tkachuk, I thought he was going to be more like Bennett. I'm really impressed with Sam Bennett and the way he plays. That's a player right there, right? He is hard. He's uncomfortable. He's skilled. And you know what? It's all between the whistles too.
He plays hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he plays right at the line, which having guys like that are a big advantage for sure. Let's get to Zach Hyman. And, Hyman, just talks about like their power play and the situation they're in right now.
I don't think it's spiraled. I think we're down 3-0 because we've given up freebies. I think it's not like we're going out there and getting absolutely dominated by a team that's better than us. It's moments in the game where they've shown a little bit more maturity than we have. And they haven't given us any freebies. All the goals that we've had to get, we've had to work extremely hard for. So I think if we are able to limit those freebies and just play the way that we can play and go to the hard areas, we'll give ourselves a chance to win every game, and you just got to win one.
Zach, I know it's a Stanley Cup final, that's a big deal, but hockey's still fun. Yeah, you guys want to have fun. Do you try to inject a little humor in it? Or are you guys looking at fun, inspirational movie clips and trying to, just kind of to maybe take off the pressure of the situation?
Oh, there's no more pressure. There's no more pressure. Everybody thinks you're going to lose. So you have no pressure in here. We just go out there and play and have fun and win one game at a time.
What do you make of the no pressure?
Well, he's right. There isn't any. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they come out with no pressure, and if they can play, the road hockey style that they wanted to come into that game with. I mean, there is no pressure. He's dead right. But he's also right on the fact that, Florida has made the Oilers earn every little bit of ice and opportunity that they got. And, it hasn't been easy for him, right? If you watch the game and you watch how hard and how much they make him in particular, pay the price for having the puck. You look at even they always seem to be able to get a piece of you, right?
Yeah.
You dump the puck in, you got to skate around someone, right? You're always restarting your motor all the time, right? And over a period of time, that just it wears you down, right? And it's tough, and especially the style of game that he plays. But it'll be interesting to see how they come out Saturday with that type of mindset, nothing to lose anymore. And we've talked about it before, how mental this game is, right? It's how mental it is, and we can all, as athletes, doesn't matter at what level you're at, can get you can kind of get in your own way sometimes.
Yeah. Here's Corey Perry on, hey man, it's do or die. You got nothing to save it for.
Where this team was at the start of the season, to what they went through, to where the position they put themselves in, and to where we are now, there's been some big strides and maturity, and there's things that happened in this dressing room that, man, some teams will never go through. And it's and the way we're looking at it is one game, one period, one shift at a time. That's all. You can't look forward any more than the first period tomorrow night. That's all you can think about, and you go from there.
Where I saw you going around in practice, just look like you're tapping guys, just keep the group upbeat. You've been through this a lot of times. What's the message for you to your teammates today?
Last night was tough. It was pretty somber in here after the game. I mean, you guys were in here, you guys saw it. It's not easy when you go down 3-0 and you play a pretty good game, make a few mistakes in the back of your net. Those things happen in sports, and you got to get over it. And it's today. I thought we had a good practice. We were moving the puck well, but the sun came up today. Tomorrow's a new day, new opportunity to go out and prove ourselves and continue the series. That's all that we're thinking about.
That's all you can think about, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's right. There's, they're not in the situation they want to be in, but there are so many positives, with that team and what they're experiencing and going through right now. And the one thing, the one player that comes to mind for me is Broberg, right? I just been so impressed with how he's handled himself coming into the lineup, under this spotlight, this type of pressure. And, there's, earlier in the season, there was certain things in his game where I was trying to figure out, well, what is he? What kind of player is he going to be? How is he going to stay in this league? But he's really, proved a lot to me that, this moment, this stage is not too big. And he has a skill set with the puck and with his skating, that's going to really help, the Oilers moving forward. And then I love Fogle. I love the way Fogle plays, he's relentless. He competes. And then you got young Holloway, right? Who's taken a real step. So, you know what? It's going to be hard. It's going to be a grind for them, but I don't know. The fact that it's been done once, right, is just, you never know. And
it's done multiple times. Went in 2010, the Flyers, the Kings in 2014.
So,
a few times.
Yeah. And you got the best player, and you got a team that was all but out it couldn't have been any worse of a start for a season. So, I mean, if anything, that's probably what, you're hanging your hat on right now, is that they were down and out, rock bottom. And the fact that they're, like you said, it's not necessarily what the other team is doing to them. It's what they're doing to themselves. Right. So tidy a couple things up in a couple, defensive situations or in different areas of the ice. McDavid, Draisaitl get a goal, and you never know with momentum and belief and confidence what one game could do.
Yeah. If you win one game, and hey, then you at least you give yourself some confidence, because confidence is a big thing, and then we'll see. But yeah, they like tomorrow they got to play well, and they have to eliminate the freebies, right? Like if Florida's going to beat you, make them beat you. Don't help them beat you. Quick break. We'll come back. Livingston will join us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Let's go Oilers.
We have to keep going, and we got 4 more wins to go here. So we'll enjoy this one tonight for sure, but get back to work.
This is Sports 1440.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Your Edmonton Riverhawks are calling all Swifties for Girls Rock Night tonight at the ballpark, featuring friendship bracelet making, a dance party after the game, and theme jerseys up for auction. Get your tickets today to watch the Hawks play at GoHawks.ca.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Hi, Jason Gregor for Volvo of Edmonton. This summer, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance, or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 recharge plug-in models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. 1205 101st Street Southwest, or visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small premium roast coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes delivery.
Hey Leduc, it's me, Grant Fedor from Leading Edge Physiotherapy. What you might not know is that I started practicing physio here in Leduc more than 23 years ago. In those years since, I haven't forgotten the kind and welcoming people that trusted me then. It feels great to be back. But I know we have to live up to our promise, and that's to live up to our name. This means bringing a leading edge focus on our environments, technology, communities, and the people who will care for you, like Graham Raymond and Amanda McIsaac, 2 locals who want to make a difference in your life. We're now open in Leduc. Learn more about us at leadingedgephysio.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
Positive Friday continues on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. How you doing? We got a lot of texts to get to, 833-401-1440. But hey, we'll speed things up on a Friday afternoon. Time to go racing. And the Racing Report brought to you by Cantork. And hey, they've sped things up with their machining in-house capacity now, which allows for them to have quicker turnarounds, improved quality control, and ultimate flexibility. Check it out. Give them a call at 436-2000 or send them an email, colin@cantork.com. And once again, Colin Livingston joins us. Let's start with IndyCar because I know it's one of your faves. Now, I know, like, I really wish there was consequences for stupidity, you know, like, because it's the second time now that you've had some of Canapino's fans who are uttering death threats because they didn't like, you know, what happened. And it wasn't even, I'm no racing expert. You're the racing expert, but that didn't even look like that dangerous of a sequence.
No, I mean, even, you know, you see it in NASCAR a lot. There's a lot of deliberate retaliation.
Yes.
IndyCar, not so much, because the potential for catastrophe is so high. You never really, I mean, you have the thought like, I want to kill this guy, but you never actually want to murder someone in an Indy, especially if you're on an oval in an IndyCar, you know, traveling at over 200 miles an hour, you make contact. I mean, the last people who have died in Indy cars died on ovals because of the speed and the configuration. But relatively, you know, it was overly optimistic. The move that Porsche, I can't even say his name, Teo Porsche, European driver, tried to throw up the inside. It's a move that at least a dozen people tried throughout the race. That was the turn 3 is where almost all the accidents happened in Detroit. Definitely overly optimistic, like very, very, very low margin of success, but it was a crash. And, you know, Canapino was able to drive away, finish the race, but yeah, the fans and, you know, some of his backers. And I think that's where things got a little bit out of hand. Is one thing, like, it's never acceptable for anyone to do this, but if you're actually connected to the driver as either a sponsor or a crew person or a supporter, and you're uttering these death threats, not too good. And I mean, it got to the point that Canapino last weekend at Road America, within 30 minutes of the first practice, he was on site and he was pretty much ready to go, but the pressure got to be too much, that he walked away and said, like, I'm taking a mental health break. I'm going to take a leave of absence, which usually is kind of code for, we're taking you out of the car. We're going to come up with some kind of, story so it doesn't seem worse than what it is. But, you know, now that it's been a week, he's been announced that he'll be back in the car here, I think at the next race. But yeah, I mean, it was just crazy. Like, you know, it's really cool that fans get that connected and they feel like they're part of the action. You know, we're actively trying to do that in all forms of racing and all forms of sport, where fans kind of feel like they're part of the action. But there also has to be a bit of reality that, you know, these are essentially characters on a TV show. Yes, they're real people, but when you get that far that you wish that someone, and you're actually threatening to physically kill somebody, that's way, way, way over the line.
Yeah. Will Power ended his 2-year winless streak.
Yep.
So, that was big for him. And it's kind of funny. Like, when you put that in your notes, I was like, 2 years. Like, that's a long time for a guy who's, first of all, got the greatest racing name ever, but also has been, like, he's always in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Willie P is as good as they come, especially on road courses. For people, people will see what Will is like. He's a bit of a goofball. He's super emotional. So there's a number of pictures of him flipping off. Then IndyCar race director Brian Barnhart, who made a terrible call. Brian is now a strategist over at Aero McLaren. So he's super passionate. Will is he's a bit of an odd dude outside of the car, but he's a really good guy. And he and his wife Liz, pardon me, she went through a bit of a health scare to the point that Will was really close to having to walk away from the car to make sure that he could support the kids and keep the house up and running. So it was great to see. He's been really close. I think he had 3 second place finishes going into this race. So for him to finally click one off, I mean, his teammates of Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin are a lot younger. So I know that, Will's knocking on 40. So that starts to weigh on your brain a little bit, but big Penske 1-2-3 last weekend as well.
And the F1 race, you know what? That might have been the most exciting race of the year because there was lots of passes for first. It wasn't because sometimes it'd be like, well, there's nothing at the top, so let's all watch everybody in the middle. And no offense, hey, the 7th guy passed for 6. Yeah, okay, that's great, and it's a pass, but it's not the same as the lead guys. And there was, it was a hell of a race.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying to have a dead heat between George Russell and Max Verstappen to actually finish, we didn't get to see the 10,000th of a second that they actually record to, but they post and they judge based on the 1,000th of a second. They hit equal times. The fact that George Russell posted the time first gave him the pole position. So that was pretty cool. Lando Norris was only 0.04 of a second off of that. So that's essentially immeasurable, and you'd never see it with the naked eye. But yeah, I mean, there were, like 4, 5, 6 on track passes for the lead. A lot of that came down to the weather because it was like super wet. Then it started drying. Then it was almost to dry. Then it rained a bit. But kudos to these drivers. For the most part, it was a pretty well executed race. Some big boneheaded moves. Checo Perez not getting out of Q1, signs his new contract with Red Bull, and then absolutely, messes his pants. Carlos Sainz, as the track's drying out and it was getting easier and easier, loops it at the second chicane by the casino, ends up taking out Alex Albon. That kind of stuff was pretty bad, but all in all, for an F1 race, super, especially coming out of Monaco, getting to see drivers drive, getting to see, people pushing, and Alex Albon, before that had the pass of the year, overtaking 2 cars in a single corner coming up to the final chicane, made a pass to the inside, had to kind of squeeze, threw it in, made it stick. It was, highly entertaining.
Now there was a few instances like the fans gained access to the track before the cars had cleared, which is rather dangerous, right? Like, I don't want to be playing, hey, let's play chicken and jaywalk with these cars. It's not, I think you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And then I know on Friday I'd seen some patrons who were rather upset because the police had told them they were canceled and denying them entry to the race grounds.
Yeah, really, really not good. The race is still promoted by Octane, same folks. Francois Dumontet knows what he's doing. There's a new owner, Bell Media, owns the race now, and I don't know if that's playing into what's going on, but it seems like what the police were telling people, they made that decision by themselves. That didn't come down from race officials. So yeah, imagine buying your ticket and you bought tickets to Montreal last year.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
And to get to the event and be told no, you've got to go. And you can see people are in the grandstands. You can hear cars are on the track. They even got to the point of blocking people from getting on the train at the metro station. So yeah, really, really a bad look. And of course they have to address the fact it's actually quite common at most races that once the cars are in Parc Ferme, that's the end of the weekend. Fans will get on the track, and they still get cordoned off that they can't get to where the cars are. They can't get to where Victory Lane is. I did it when I was in Montreal. We were sitting in the final hairpin My buddy Fritz and I, came down. There was a photo hole that we managed to crawl through, and and we got up there, and it's perfectly acceptable. But when cars are still on their in lap, super dangerous for the drivers, could be very expensive, and again, obviously very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. So glad to hear that that nothing wrecked or happened there. Now, how does all the rain and the weather here? Now, are you because I know like F1, obviously, they still race and they practice in the rain and stuff. The guys at the kart level, do you run in the rain?
We do. Absolutely. Yeah. We got rain tires and everything.
How is it? Like, is it noticeably that, like, do you know, are you just like, you know what? I'm out.
I know where you're going. I mean, racing in the rain is great. Like
it is, honestly,
a lot of fun because, in a go-kart, you've got so much power, so little weight, and you really have to fight traction. So you've really, really, really got to be dialed, and you've got to have a really, really fine touch to be able to find that threshold from, going quickly to going too quickly, where you start, driving into people, spinning out, crashing into things.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only time when I see like an IndyCar, when I see Formula One, when they race in the rain, I know I can feel exactly what they're going through because the threshold is kind of the same. And you can see the exact same steering inputs that they put in, that we put into the kart. We're not going as fast, but it's the exact same technique.
Okay.
But, to answer the question you didn't ask, I am far and away now becoming a fair weather driver. I am, essentially made of sugar. The problem, it's not the getting in the rain that bugs me. There's about 3 hours a time, 4 hours a time that you got to put in to cleaning your kart up after you're done, which means, taking all the things apart, getting all the water out of it, getting all the gunk off of it, cleaning all your lines. You've got to take the shift cables apart, the throttle cables apart. It's a real pain in the ass. But there's also a high degree chance of contact. I mean, there was definitely thousands of dollars of damage done on the first lap of the first heat when our group went into turn 2. Somebody, kind of got on it early, spun, everybody had nowhere to go, and they just piled up. So I was also glad that I didn't get involved in that, but I'll be ready to go next Wednesday as long as it's nice and dry.
What's the average cost in like a decent size, when there's contact on a kart race? Like, how much does it cost to fix it? Like on average?
From hundreds to thousands. I mean, if
like 10 grand or like 2
no, that would be, pretty much an entire cart.
Okay.
But if you damage a spindle, that could be $200. Steering arm is like, $60-$70.
Okay.
Steering column, $150. Break a throttle cable, that's some money.
Mm-hmm.
If you bend your chassis, that can cost, depending on where you take it and who fixes it, to get your chassis straight can cost $750, $1,000. So
wow.
It's no joke.
No, I wouldn't think it is. So when are you guys back on race? This Wednesday?
Back Wednesday, but we got to talk about Jamie Chadwick before we're done.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Jamie Chadwick, female driver. Not necessarily everyone would know that by her name. She was racing over in Europe in the W Series. Very, very stoked. She became only the third female driver in the first in 14 years to win pole position in a Indy Lights Indy Next race.
Okay.
Last weekend, and became only the third ever female driver to win Indy Lights race. So at Road America, just backing up what my claims have always been, that the car doesn't know who's driving it. Females can definitely race with males. We just need to have more women racing before we start seeing more even fields, because again, the car just doesn't care.
So Pippa Mann, is she another one who won?
Yep. Pippa was one of the first to win pole. She was one of the first to win the race.
Right.
And Anna Beatrix was other female to win at the Indy Lights series, or the Indy Lights level. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. Super cool. I love that stuff. That's, I get beat by women all the time. So, we've got, again, our young friend, Devin Gellings, that we race with. I mean, she's not as young as she was, but neither am I. But yeah, like 20 years old, and she still mops the track with me every week. So it's, and
especially in the rain. So Sugar over there.
Yeah.
Sugar Livingston.
You've got to be on track to have a shot. So
All right, man. Well, have yourself a great weekend.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
There you go. That's Colin Livingston. The Racing Report brought to you by Can Torque. When we come back, Craig Button will join us. Also, we will hear more from the Oilers. Hey, they're fired up for the chance, man. They got a chance. As you work all year for this. As Corey Perry says, you got one more opportunity, and then hopefully 2, 3, maybe 4 to prove yourself that the Oilers can compete with the Florida Panthers. They've been in the games. They took themselves out of a few games. They've given a few easy goals to the Panthers. Can they eliminate that? Because if they don't, they're going to have no chance. Bobrovsky's not giving them any easy goals at all. So let's get to the Command Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Fountain Tire. More than just tires. Of course, they got all sorts of great tires, but they're mechanics. They know everything. Highly certified. You got a mechanical problem, they'll fix it. Go to fountaintire.com. Book yours today.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 2 in the CFL is underway. The Edmonton Elks hosting the Montreal Alouettes tonight down at Commonwealth. Kickoff set for just after 7 o'clock. In the association, you got the Celtics in Dallas taking on the Mavericks, looking to wrap up the NBA Finals. Currently leading 3-0. Tip-off 6:30. In the majors, the Jays, they got a series going with the Guardians. That gets going just after 5 o'clock. Those two teams meet tomorrow at 1:05, and then Sunday at 11:30 a.m. You can catch both those games right here on Sports 1440 AM radio feed. Only one final earlier today had the Cards knocking off the Cubs 3-0. Here in town, you got the Edmonton Riverhawks taking on Victoria. First pitch, 7:05. The Stingers on the road down in Calgary to take on the Surge. That one will get going just after 7 o'clock as well. In the WNBA, 2 games tonight, both at 5:30. Sky in Washington, and the Lynx host the Sparks. Euro 2024 first game, you had Germany defeating Scotland 5-1. And at the U.S. Open, Ludwig Aber currently atop the leaderboard at -6. Mathieu Pavon and Patrick Cantley both 5 under par. Bryson DeChambeau, Tony Finau, and Thomas Dietrich all 4 under. Rory McIlroy sitting 3 under. Top Canadian right now is Corey Connors. He's even. Taylor Pendrith is 1 over par. You got Adam Svensson at 3 over par. Those are the only Canadians that will be playing on the weekend. Amateur Ashton McCullough sitting 5 over. And Nick Taylor 8 over par. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from more members of the Edmonton Oilers, ask 5 questions, and be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Get ready, Oilers fans. During the finals, make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the finals with 10+ odds boosts on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win amazing prizes like season seats for the 2024-25 season or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
When you want to recognize the top performer on your team, come create memorable and customized trophies and awards with Elite Promotional Marketing. Elite's in-house design team will help you achieve your corporate award goals. Head to elitepromomarketing.com.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small iced coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes flavored iced coffee and delivery.
Take your bedroom to the next level this spring at The Brick. Our bedroom event deals are here to help you renovate on a budget. Save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals and get up to 40% off bedroom furniture and mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an additional $500 off major kitchen appliances. And get free delivery on purchases of $4.99 or more. Take advantage of these fabulous deals today. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Great savings when you book a weekday tea time. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club for an 18-hole round and get a $10 discount on your next round. Ask for details. Plus, their out-of-bounds restaurant is a must-try.
cattailcrossing.ca. 0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber, and now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Vision Credit Union is proud to serve rural Albertan entrepreneurs, business owners like Brent and Leanne Gome, who've owned the Kill and Feed and Farm Supply for almost 20 years. The company offers grain processing, feed, livestock, calving, and vet supplies, and more. Recently, they've even added a self-picking bale truck and delivery to their services. Now that's a lot of getting down to business. Looking for financial services to help your company get down to business? Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Edmonton's newest Traeger dealer is Garage Superstore. So if you're thinking, yeah, I need a Traeger grill in my life this summer, then buy now and save up to $250. Foot showroom with 6 full-size, fully outfitted garages. Garage Superstar. Southside Calgary Trail.
That a Friday continues on. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you. Hope you're having an awesome day. You can always get involved. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. 833-401-1440. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, use the promo code Gregor50. You still believe, because it could last through until Sunday and then be done if the Oilers lose on Saturday. So, but if they win, hey, keeps extending as long as the playoffs go. Gregor 50 at PlayAlberta.ca, and we'll get yourself a free $50 play. So maybe you've been waiting. You're like, you know what? You got to make a $5 deposit, by the way. If you feel that the Oilers are due, then now's the time to do it. Right? Maybe your belief will help them. We'll see. They are looking for any sort of bonus at this point, as obviously they would. They'd like to keep playing like any player at this time of year. So we've talked about it a lot on what they can do. You heard it last night. Draisaitl, is saying, "Hey man, I pride myself on being good, and for these 3 games I haven't been." And I hear he's saying that while he's banged up. How serious is he banged up? Who knows? He has been practicing more lately, so I don't know if that's a sign of him getting better, or maybe he's just more comfortable with whatever his ailment is. So, we'll see. They definitely could use him. I feel that his injury is impacting his faceoffs and his shot. 2 areas where in the regular season, he's a very good faceoff guy. I don't think he should lose that. And then his shot, he's been unable to elevate it as quickly as he would like, especially from that sharp angle.
Could it be his wrist? I mean, I always find it really interesting when the playoffs is over and we have a chance to to hear all the injuries and what they actually put themselves through. And it really puts things in perspective, as a fan, because we don't understand, and we constantly, are critiquing them and, have advice or, and when you realize what these guys actually play through to put themselves in this position, it's quite remarkable. I've lived it. I've seen guys get, frozen and play through certain things just for a chance to win the cup, and to do it for the guy next to him is quite remarkable. And yeah, I mean, it's, he's playing through something. What I like most about it is with a lot of these guys, him included, and he's a tough German too, right? He plays a hard game. He's a skilled guy, but he's tough. And, you don't hear these guys complaining about it at all, which is always, which is quite remarkable as well.
Yeah, you probably want to talk about it less in a way, just because it's like...
you don't want to put a bullseye, right?
Yeah, and you also don't want to focus on it either, I would think, right? You try to block it out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like I said, it's mental. I mean, I couldn't imagine these guys getting out of bed each day, just, and just how their body feels. If anyone, that's played hockey knows what it's like to take a shot, off of your skate. It's a horrible feeling. Right? It's a horrible feeling to feel like something's broken, and and the trainer or everyone's telling you to go for a walk.
Yeah, walk it off. What's the problem?
For that split second, it literally feels like it's broken, and and to do it again, multiple times in a shift, and as is expected throughout a series and throughout a game is like I said, it's really amazing. I always thought that's amazing about hockey. I've played men's hockey, and there's a lot of good men's hockey players that play the game, and you sit on the bench and you hear the chatter of different people. Well, why this guy, why didn't he make it? Is his coach screwed him, or everyone's getting screwed? If you talk to them long enough, everyone's getting screwed. But the biggest thing about these guys that make it to those levels of hockey is that they're not only skilled and they're good, but they're unbelievably tough, and what they're willing to do.
High pain threshold.
But there's George. I've always said there's George Laraque tough, but then there's Mike Modano tough. Where he's going to cut across the ice full speed, and knowing that at the other end of this pass could be Jason Smith trying to take his head off, or and not once would those guys ever not want to take that pass.
Yeah.
Right. It's incredible. And that's what I love about the NHL. And I love about this game is that it's a bravado game. It's a hard game. It's a tough game, and it's a skilled game.
Hey guys, flicker of hope. The Oilers have had long winning streaks before this year. Maybe they do it again. 4, 8, 8, 16. True. Hey, you know what? Right now they just need a 1 win.
There's hope.
Honestly, if they win, then we can talk about it on Monday. Yeah. And then they'll be like, okay, what did they do better in game 4? Can they continue that into game 5? Because I do believe there's, like, I thought after the second goal there, Brownie, there was a little bit, they kind of folded for a bit, right? Like it took them a while to get back on track. Like that was a real gut wrenching. Florida had nothing going, right? And that was just a dump in that's casual, that Stuart Skinner 99 times out of 100, maybe even 999 out of 1,000. Like it wasn't one where you had to rip out and speed into the boards, like that was
a gift.
That was a gift. Yeah. And that was a play that should be made by your goalie.
It is a bit of a buzzkill, and you could see it. I mean, I've been in that situation where, you've made a mistake. Someone's made a mistake, and you're just like, oh God, like it was when you're fighting tooth and nail for every inch, and a gift comes like that, it's for sure deflating. But I just think if it can go one way, it can go another way. And especially when you got, the best players. But do you think the Oilers make some changes
in the roster?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Really?
No. Kane didn't skate today. Yep. Who the only change I think they could make is Ryan for Carrick, and I watched the line rushes today, and I didn't see any changes. So I don't think they would put Desharnais in. I could be wrong. Mm-hmm. Maybe they will, like Desharnais for Ceci. I guess you could do that. That might happen.
Yeah,
but the
Pickard,
truth is,
put Pickard in. And I'm not saying that.
No, there's no chance.
No. I think Skinner's played
like
Skinner. He's played well.
None of like he mishandled the puck. None of the goals that he let in were terrible goals.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a mistake that has not like the mistake happened outside of the crease.
Is it a reset for the team? Maybe just
no. I don't think I'd be stunned.
There's talk of Gagne coming in.
No. I know he skated on the. There's no talk of it. It was just because I tweeted out that he skated in the main. Yeah, don't confuse the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. Where? Oh, from 8654329 Steve. Oh, okay. No, Gagne skated with the main group today, and they were all in white jerseys, which is a little different. But he skated on a line with Carrick and Lane Peterson. So now something I guess could change. Maybe it would, Now, but again, you bring in Sam Gagner. So let's look at so your depth forwards, Vogel and McLeod just scored. You're not taking them out. The only guy you would take him out for is Derek Ryan.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Okay. I wouldn't. Now, Sam doesn't kill penalties though. So, now you have a right shot, but he's not a face-off guy and he's not a penalty killer. So I don't like they're not. Janmark and Brown were really good, so they're not coming out. Vogel and McLeod just scored, so they're not coming out. I don't think you're putting in Gagne for Holloway. So, who are you putting him in for?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like Sam Gagne. No offense, he hasn't skated with the main group all year, like all playoffs. He hasn't played. In a long time, he'd be fresh. That's the one thing he would have is he'd be fresh.
Would be fresh, but it's. I don't care how long or how many years you played in the game and how much experience you have. When you haven't been in it for this long, it takes time to even get up to speed and comfortable in that in the environment, right? And the fact that he wouldn't be playing a ton, it is a stretch. I'm just throwing it out there just because he has made and pushed a lot of really. He seems to be pushing the right buttons. Is there another button for him to push that could make a difference?
Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not sure I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see. But because here's the truth. The major changes that have to happen, like we can spend hours talking about, this guy comes in, that guy comes in. Is he going to get the top 5 guys to score? Yes or no? I don't think so. Not playing with them. Is he going to help the Oilers eliminate their freebie goals that Zach Hyman said? Like maybe, I don't know, but that comes down to each individual play, right? Like that's what's killing the Oilers right now is that they have 0 goals from their top 5 players, and they've gifted too many goals against.
They've gifted, but they also there's another. I think there's another level of compete and work ethic and battle.
Okay.
I don't know if there obviously is a stat. I don't know where it is and if it's true, but just from my eyes, right now I'd like to see them get to more pucks first.
Okay.
To me, it seems like Florida gets the first touch a lot. Right. And if they're not getting the first touch, right, they're getting stick on puck, they're getting body position, and that second guy's getting in there quick. Right. And I think there's times that the Oilers do it and they create some momentum and opportunity from it. But I think as a whole, I think Florida right now is probably, to me, seems like the most consistent team that's able to get the first touch, get in on forechecks, keep pucks alive, right, and protect the puck and be strong.
Okay, so you want Edmonton? You think they're losing too many puck battles?
Yeah. I mean, you obviously got to limit, the mistakes, the individual mistakes that they're making that are turning into goals. But I think overall, getting to pucks quicker, getting in stride, staying on pucks, keeping pucks alive, being strong on pucks, getting that first touch so that, either you get it, keep it alive, or the second guy gets a chance to kind of get in there. That's just from me watching from afar. I just think that that's one thing Florida has consistently done. They take it. I don't care how good you are, right? They take your time and space away and they come in and they're uncomfortable. Right. And so even at times I just, you and I were talking it off air. I just feel like there's times where, players are throwing, throwing pucks away, getting rid of pucks a little sooner than what they have to. But I think that's a result of a team that's forechecking.
So I was going to say because hearing footsteps has such a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But are you seeing that?
I'm not saying they're scared, but
but that's not. But
but
hearing footsteps doesn't mean you're scared. It's just the other team is getting in your head, and you feel like I don't have time. I got to move this quicker than I should.
I think so. I think they've consistently from game one they've been really good on the forecheck, getting in there. right? And when they get in there, they take the body. They're uncomfortable, and I know what it's like to play against teams that play like that. Every time it leaves a mark.
Yeah. And eventually, I know it's funny because some people believe, hits don't matter. I'm like, no, because it's not even the contact. Like, sure, it wears you down, but it makes you sometimes move the puck a half second quicker.
You make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's just normal. No, I hate getting hit. I'm pretty much scared of everything, right? No, I don't want to get hit. If I don't have to get hit, I don't want to get hit.
Except of getting punched in the face. It's such an odd thing to me. Hey, I don't want to get hit. You want to drop the gloves? I'm in. Let's go.
You're in a different mindset. But yeah, how you are. Yeah. So, but yeah, it leaves a mark, and it's also the way you hit, right? And that's why I think
Bennett hits hard.
Bennett and certain guys, like if they just hit, that's not good enough.
No.
Right. It's the way you hit and how hard and how uncomfortable you can make a guy feel within the rules.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, the Oilers have guys, Florida has guys that both teams and have guys that can do it. It's just, I think right now, as a whole, you got a team that, has been in the final, has lost. I think that experience right now is paying off for Florida.
Okay.
To me, where they're just like been there, done that. We know what to expect. And it's close. It's close, but there's just a fraction ahead of Edmonton on their desperate.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a few Florida people tell me they're watching the Oilers this year and they feel like some of the plays they make remind them of Florida last year. And so I know it's like, you know what? Now it's a year ago. Our memories can change at times.
Yeah.
What we think we remember and then what actually happened are two different things. Sure, a lot of us are guilty of that at times, but
it'll be interesting, like once again to see what they play through. But it'll be interested to hear, when the dust settles a little bit, like what would they do different? What did they experience that kind of they didn't expect or kind of caught them off guard?
Well, I think the biggest one is like if they could cut down their big errors, because that's what crushed them last night. Like, I don't know if Stuart Skinner can learn from that error. It's just, I guess every play matters, but I went and watched that replay. I'm like, man, I don't even know how he misplayed that. Like it wasn't like it was high up on the glass or anything. Because I've noticed he doesn't, if they bring it around on the partition after he gave up the goal against the Kings, he doesn't come out to try to stop that because it's high in the partition and those plays can happen.
Yeah.
That was one last night that shouldn't.
Yeah.
Craig Button, he was there. He will join us next. Gregor, Brown, Halley with you on Sports 1440. Oh, by the way, do you want to go see the Elks? We got 2 pairs of sweet seats to give away. 833-401-1440. You could 100% go tonight. It's Friday Night Football. The Elks against the Alouettes. Tonight, Jason Moss back in town. Can the Elks get a win? You could be there. We got 2 pairs of seats, great seats. Lower bowl. Well, everything's in the lower bowl now. But lower bowl, if you want to go, 833-401-1440. Just have your name and use the word Elks so we know that you want in.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Ennio and Jason are friends.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy? Except when they talk hockey.
Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby. But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wheelhawk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wheelhawk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
Hey, Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
Try the new extra large New York style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's.
Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy cuppy pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Hi, it's Jason Gregor. We're looking for an experienced salesperson to join us as we continue to grow the Sports 1440 brand across the province. Of course, you'll sell Mornings with Carius, Low Tide Show, The Frenzy, as well as my show. No radio sales experience is needed, but you need some sales experience. You have to love sports, and you must be a hunter and driven. The base salary plus commissions for this great opportunity, and trust me, you'll have loads of fun working with us. Email your resume to gregor@sports1440.ca. We look forward to having you on the team.
Warmer, brighter days can make you crave something to sip. Booster Juice is busting out booster mixers, the summer fixers. Cold, tasty sippers in 5 vibrant varieties. The Mango Teaser, Berry Teaser, Almighty Acai, Game Set Matcha, and Oranges and Cream. Try all 5 and brighten your day a sip at a time. And try the Cookies and Cream Booster Ball, the yummy little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Take your bedroom to the next level this spring at the Brick. Our bedroom event deals are here to help you renovate on a budget. Save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals and get up to 40% off bedroom furniture and mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an additional $500 off major kitchen appliances and get free delivery on purchases of $4.99 or more. Take advantage of these fabulous deals today. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more. $426. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Hope you're having yourself a wonderful day as you get set for the weekend. And then, hey, another big game tomorrow night for the Edmonton Oilers, and we'll see if that turns into a Game 5. They're obviously in must-win territory now for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's get to the Oil Report, brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. You can save up to $6,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models at Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Craig Button from TSN, former NHL GM, Stanley Cup winner with the Dallas Stars, joins us. Craig, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I am doing good, Jason. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. The Edmonton Oilers, man, they played good for lots of stretches. And then like last night was obviously self-destruction at its finest over a 6-minute span for the Edmonton Oilers. But like Craig, it's 3-0. It doesn't really feel like when the Oilers were down 3-0 to Colorado 2 years ago, that felt like a 3-0 series. You know what? Like they were just clearly the two teams weren't in the same stratosphere. This one feels a little bit different, but it has the hole been dug and it's just too deep to get out of?
Oh, I think the hole's completely been dug in. I think that it's a false reality to think you've been close. That's what I think. I mean, like if you go, okay, for a 6-minute stretch, that's all it takes. That's all it takes when you're playing a good team. And the Florida Panthers are a good team. And, they scored the goal to make it 4-3. They had the one shot by McLeod. Good save by Borowski. They didn't have a shot in the last 4-13. Not in the last 4-13. Power play. 4-on-3 power play to start the third period.
No, that was awful.
Nothing. Zero. Nada. Like, it's nice. It's nice to think you're close. They're not close.
Craig, what's what's impressed you? What have you liked most or disliked about Florida or Edmonton's game?
Well, let's start with the like. And when you watch the Florida Panthers play, they're next into every spot. Like they're next. They're able to close off ice. I mean, there's a reason Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl have been held off the scoreboard. And it hasn't been because they haven't had chances. Bobrovsky's made some really good saves, and that's part of the game too. But all in all, how many times have we watched Connor McDavid twist and turn and turn and twist and twist and turn, looking for an opening, looking for space? I mean, Connor McDavid is the best player in the world at creating space, and he's finding it a real challenge. So why don't we just kind of go down the lineup? The best player on the planet who creates space better than anybody else can't do it very well. How are these other players going to do it? And I think that from the first line to the fourth line all the way through their blue line, I mean, they just make it incredibly hard. Yeah, last 30 seconds of the game, that puck's in the corner. Edmonton didn't even come close to winning a puck, let alone getting a chance to tie the game. They didn't even come close. And those types of abilities of the Florida Panthers to close you, I think, become really significant, and they become really important at this time of the year. Bobrovsky has had great stretches, and we saw that in the first two periods of game one. We certainly saw it at different points in the game last night. The Edmonton Oilers had some good looks, and they had some really good scoring chances. But Bobrovsky, I mean, he's part of the reason that they're up 3-0. As I go to the Oilers, Sean, Evander Kane, who was just hurt, he tried to do the best he could, and then he couldn't go anymore. And that's because of injury. So if we look at 6 forwards that were in the lineup last night, and I look at and Fogle and McLeod each scored a goal, and I don't think those. I think the 6 forwards: Fogle, McLeod, Janmark, Perry, Ryan, and who am I forgetting?
Connor Brown.
One other guy. No, I thought Connor Brown was good last night. He wasn't in that group. Fogle, McLeod, Fogle, Janmark, Ryan, Perry, and who was the other forward in the lineup last night? Not Holloway. Anyway, you have 6 forwards that are non-factors. They're non-factors. And you can't. It's hard enough to win with a full lineup. And we know Kane's hurt. We saw that last year with Matthew Tkachuk. I think that the Oilers just aren't deep enough to beat a really strong DP.
So when you look at Edmonton, and if you're going to say, okay, non-factor guys, like now Fogle, so now are you saying up until last night it was a non-factor, or you thought he was a non-factor outside of his goal?
What did he do last night? He scored a goal on a nice break. What else did he do in the game? Henrique's the other guy.
Yeah, Henrique. Yeah, Henrique, I didn't notice much last night, for sure.
I don't think those 6 guys gave him very much, if anything at all. Like, you can't you got to be a factor. A forecheck, create some disruption. I mean, Corey Perry, what did he do? He fell on a goalie. Other than that, there was nothing from Corey Perry. Fogle scored. Ryan McLeod has a tip. Okay, it's a nice tip. I'll give him credit for that. But, okay, so you got 1 shift out of how many? You can't keep going through the game not getting and I'm not talking about scoring contribution. I'm talking about wearing a team down. Like that 4th line for the Florida Panthers comes out and they wear you down. They wear you down.
Yeah,
it's a grind.
Brownie was talking about that. He feels that Florida's commitment to forechecking in battles is significantly higher.
Yeah, well, and again, that's part of learning, right? I mean, last year we watched Vegas really perform like admirably. I mean, and they got to a point where they just dusted the Florida Panthers, and now the Florida Panthers come back with a little bit better understanding. And I'll go all the way back to '83, Jason and Sean. The Oilers got swept by the New York Islanders. That was an excellent team. That was a team that thought they were ready to win, but then after that they said, okay, we now know what it takes to win. This will be a great learning experience for the Edmonton Oilers, for Evan Bouchard, for Darnell Nurse, for Matthias Ekholm, for McDavid, for Draisaitl. It's the commitment that's necessary to win the Stanley Cup.
Would you make a change, or does it matter on the back end? Would you put Desharnais back in, or would you stick with the 6?
I guess what I would say, you know what I would do? I'd go with 11 defensemen. Or 7 defensemen, 11 forward. Sorry.
So now what would be the benefit of that, do you think?
Well, the benefit of that would be to just try to ease some of the load on the defense, on all of them. Because what ends up happening, you got to play more minutes. You're playing harder minutes. You're playing heavier minutes because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no rest for any of the defensemen. And because I just talked about the forwards that I think are non-factors, I'll give a little bit of I'll give some breathing time to some of my defenders. That's why I would do it.
Yeah. Well, some of them, it's really Bouchard. Like Bouchard's playing ton. He's playing like 27, 28 minutes a night.
Well, and that's what I mean. So he makes a mistake. Matthias Ekholm makes 2 mistakes. They're not mistake prone, those 2 guys, but I think that they do wear down. And you know, it's nice. And Derek Ryan is a great story. You got Derek Ryan out on the ice. So here's who he can go out against: Barkov, Bennett, Lundell, or Stenlund. He has no chance. He has no chance. He's out. Desharnais in.
Yeah.
Craig, is there anyone having more fun than the coach Paul Maurice in this environment, handling just the way he's handling the media? What are your thoughts on that?
He's been brilliant. If they had a Conn Smythe for coaches, I mean, forget about winning, but just for press conferences, Paul Maurice would be the unanimous choice. And I think he nailed it, Sean. It's about understanding the moment. It's about understanding that, hey, this is a pressure cooker. Wayne Gretzky, he said it better than anybody. He goes, there's 3 seasons. There's the regular season, the playoffs, and the Stanley Cup Final. And the pressure ratchets up and the focus and the spotlight becomes brighter. And so I think Paul has been fantastic. He's got recent experience last year having been to the Stanley Cup Final. And I think just the way he's handled things, the way he's managed the media and just kept it light. I mean, even his comment about flying up and the delay, he said, well, you know, the only problem with that was we put on 7 pounds because we had to eat extra meals because of the delay. I mean, he just has a way of handling everything that's been thrown his way, regardless of what it is. I mean, the comment about Barkov after the game 2 check and, you know, the travel and everything that goes with it. He's the picture of calm, composure, and just keeping it light, even though you know how serious the coaches are at this time of the year.
Greg, I want to get your thoughts on a few other things. We're a few weeks away from the NHL draft. You know, there's lots of names out there. Are you not so much about the draft picks, but you think we're actually going to see some moves here at the draft with some teams trying to move money around?
Yeah, I do. And I think that'll lead right into free agency because free agency is real quick, right? Like the draft ends on the 29th at, 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock Eastern time, roughly. And now the teams are just getting ready for free agency. I expect lots of movement. I expect movement before, I expect movement during, and I expect movement right in leading into free agency. The cap is up. There's more flexibility in the system. There's more opportunity for teams to assess where they could make moves and accommodate money. I mean, the system's been tight the last couple of years, and I think that now it really frees things out. It's been like an ice jam, and there's been a thaw now. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot. I think there's also going to be a number of players that are not going to get qualified based on arbitration cases and where numbers are at. And yes, so I think there's going to be a lot of players on the market, not only in trade but also players that are going to be free agents that don't get qualified.
Yeah, no, the RFA list every year seems to be growing as teams are leery of guys. Like, you know, Luke Cunnin in San Jose is an interesting one for me.
Yeah.
It's got to be qualified at $3 million. I'm not sure that's going to happen, I would think, for the Sharks. But we'll see. What do you make of the Sharks coaching change, by the way, before I let you go?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they know Ryan and they're giving him an opportunity. I mean, this is a rebuilding organization. So my feeling on this is if you're a rebuilding organization and you want to bring in a rookie coach and a coach without NHL experience and somebody you're familiar with, just give him the same opportunity to grow as a coach with this group of players that you're going to give the young players the opportunity to grow and develop. That's what I feel. But if you're going to jettison him after 2 years as a team is growing, I don't think that's then bring somebody in that's a placeholder. Don't bring in a young coach that might get damaged long term with that type of scenario. And, there's lots of coaches that can come in and be a placeholder. Ryan's a young coach that's got aspirations of being a coach for a number of years in the NHL. I think it's a good opportunity for him, but I think the San Jose Sharks have to give him that opportunity as they do their players to grow with the team. And the players grow, he grows.
Great stuff, Craig. We appreciate it. We'll see you at the rink tomorrow.
We will. Look forward to it.
There you go. That's Craig Button from TSN. Butts thinks it's all but over. The chunky lady is in the background warming up.
I love his passion, his enthusiasm, and there's no gray area for him. He's going to tell you exactly what he's thinking. And you know what? I think you and I kind of talked about it. There is, to me, Edmonton seems very similar to Florida last year, where it's just, you get there and you don't quite know what it takes, at that next level of the Stanley Cup. And like you said, Gretzky said, there's 3 different seasons. And I think there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more for each guy to give physically, and that accountability towards each other. Because structurally, I think they're really good. Like they're well coached. Like Knobloch's done an amazing job since he's come in here. And when you watch them structurally, that box is ticked off, right? It's just now up to them to find the next level of execution and accountability and compete.
Yeah. That's fair. And the big one is, and I've said this for many times, limit the errors. Their errors are going to happen in any sport at any level. There's no team that never has mistakes. Like Florida's mistakes are not showing up on the scoreboard because their goalie's played unreal, right? Like I have people say, hey guys, Barkov shut down Kucherov and everybody else. He should get the heart. I'm like, what do you mean he shut down McDavid? Look how many scoring chances they've had. The goaltender shut them down. It's a no-brainer. It's not even a debate who's winning the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close. You look at the save percentage of their goalie, look at the quality of chances that he has faced in this series, and he's coming up huge. And that's why Edmonton's close, but close only counts in horseshoes, and it's not, and hand grenades, but and maybe a few other things, but it's not. Bobrovsky right now has a different. And if I'm Edmonton, you know what? The last 2 goals showed any goalie can be beat, as Scott Hartnell said early in the first hour. Any goalie can be beat, and you don't want to let him get in your head. And I think he might be in the head of the power play guys for sure. His anticipation on the reads is great, and you know what? Maybe they got to go back to just getting some garbage goals on the power play, right? Because the power play probably gets underrated for their work ethic on getting pucks back and extending plays. They need to do that. Now maybe got to get some ugly goals. Like you heard Zach Hyman or Bouchard talked about it, how Bobrovsky is so confident right now. He is really coming out and cutting down angles. So you know what? Maybe a direct play off of the net, right? Whip one off the boards. Try to beat him different ways. So we'll see.
It doesn't have to be pretty. I mean, we talked about it last week. I mean, just getting the pucks on net, whether it's goes off your butt, off your skate, it's just a goal is a goal, and it's never a bad idea to get the puck to the net. But you know what? Hey, I've made a ton of mistakes and throughout my whole career, more mistakes than good plays. And you know what? You gotta, the way the Florida plays, that, they are making some mistakes that you're like, hey, you know what? You didn't, you're making those mistakes in your self-destruction. But I think the way that Florida plays just leads to that. And I can think of all the mistakes that I made. It was just because of something that's continually happening over and over, and it just eventually just it wears you down. And Florida's doing a really good job of just they're almost like a wave, right? It's just one after another, and the depth and the speed and the fact that everyone's buying into exactly how they need to play. And that's what you need. Any successful team is I don't think there's one guy that's not willing to accept his role on that team right now. Right. You got Tarasenko, you have some really skilled players that have come from other teams that have just bought into being like, hey, you need to play this way to be successful. And they're doing that. And the Oilers are learning that right now.
Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you on Sports 1440. We'll come back. We got 5 questions. Spec, low tide, much more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Also, Connor did send it to our lucky, we had a few people that are going to the Elks game. Thanks to Don for some tickets. Appreciate that. We'll return.
Edmonton. Let's bring it home. This is Sports 1440.
Finals fever is here, and it's all about the Oilers. We're boosting your odds and enhancing your parlays on all playoff games. Every bet on any game enters you into a draw to win seats for the 2024-25 hockey season, or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season. Use promo code Gregor50 when you deposit at playalberta.ca to receive a $50 free sports bet. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
AccuSteel heavy haul trailers have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for over 25 years, bringing you innovative solutions for unconventional problems. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. When you need to haul the largest machinery on the planet, they can do it with a premium engineered heavy haul trailer made right here in Alberta. They're 100% family owned, treating you like part of the family. Trust the experts at AccuSteel heavy haul trailers. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118th.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Take your bedroom to the next level this spring at the Brick. Our bedroom event deals are here to help you renovate on a budget. Save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals and get up to 40% off bedroom furniture and mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more, up to an additional $500 off major kitchen appliances. And get free delivery on purchases of $4.99 or more. Take advantage of these fabulous deals today. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Wendy's Small Frosty is the ultimate summer refreshment. And not because it's cool and creamy and made with fresh Canadian dairy. It's also refreshingly cheap, just 99 cents until July 14th. It's a treat for you and your wallet. Taxes extra at participating Wendy's.
People you know will go hungry tonight. Your local food bank is like a beacon, reaching out to those in need, offering warmth, food, and hope. Visit foodbankscanada.ca and help them serve hope on a plate, because no one should weather life's hurricanes alone.
Continuing on, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown with you as we get to 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You're live on Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, and Sports 1445 questions are brought to you by The Brick, where you have until Sunday, as they like to say. It's an old school commercial where you can save a huge. You want to renovate your home if you're looking to upgrade. Maybe you've ruined your couch, jumping up and down on it during this playoff run, and you need a new one. Well, you can save up to $1,200 off of sofas and sectionals. This is Sean Brown's type of sale at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Question number 1, guys. Does this series end in 4? And if not, how many more do we have in us?
I got to give the Oilers a game. I think that just with the players that they have, the pride that these players have played with all along, the whole season, and the adversity that they've gone through to this point, I at least got to give them Saturday's game.
Yeah, I thought they'd win last night, so obviously I was wrong. Yeah, man, if Florida scores first, I don't know. But yeah, based how their season's gone, and I know it sounds so like if you lose in 5, it means you only won 1 game, but there's just something about a sweep. Like I don't know. I think it's humiliating is the wrong word, but it's a real big kick in the junk, even more. So I think they'll find a way to win 1, at least.
That's a good word. Humiliate. It is.
Yeah. But like you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's not that like I think some people are like they made it to Stanley Cup Final. Like it's a real big accomplishment.
But they wouldn't be happy with that.
No, obviously they wouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I kind of think like you find a way to get the get 1 win.
Yeah.
Question number 2, good or bad, what is something you've learned about this Edmonton Oilers team in the first 3 games?
Well, it's something I felt I always thought was as a concern. I still feel like they don't have enough players who are like they don't have enough hard players. Like I don't care. Your elite skill guys don't have to be that way. That's fine. Like Verhaeghe isn't a physical player. No one really cares. Lundell's not a physical player. No one really cares. You can have some. I don't think Edmonton has enough hard players.
I think they do.
You do?
I think they have players that
like
are hard.
Who in their bottom 6 is hard?
Okay, well
then that's
okay. I mean, I gotta look back.
Dude, here's the thing. No. The fact you have to think about it shows you they don't have one.
I think there's some guys that could play hard, that need to play harder and could play harder.
No, who?
I think Fogle at times does.
Okay, but if you've been you've been in the league this long, you are who you are.
I know, but I think he has that in him. I think he's got it in him. Holloway has it in him. Janmark, Carrick. I think there's guys that do. I think there's more accountability and more for them to give. I think Desharnais has more. I think Ekholm has more. I think at times, Ekholm, was that guy for the most part. I think there's another level for him to get to. Nurse, so I guess getting to the question, that's the biggest thing.
But if you have guys who haven't played hard, I don't think they are. I don't think they're capable of it. I really don't. I don't ask players to do something that
they don't want to do. And that's what I guess that would lead into the question is I don't think that they're 100% comfortable and committed to playing the way they need to play. Right. Like, and as an example, for me would be Nurse. I think that Nurse has a dimension that a lot of guys don't have. I don't know if he's 100%. I don't know if 100% that he wants to be that guy. Does he want to be that guy? I'm not 100% sure. He can be that guy, and he has shown that when he is that guy, he's one of the top defending defenseman on the Oilers, and he's a big part of their team when he plays that way. But I just don't know if certain guys have bought into the exact way that they need to play.
Question number 3. Let's take Bobrovsky out of the picture here. Who would be your top 3 candidates on the Panthers team for the Conn Smythe?
So I don't get Bobrovsky?
No.
Because it's too obvious?
Too obvious.
I was going to end at him. I was like, why are we talking about anyone else?
I would say Forsling, Barkov, Bennett.
I will go with you know what? I will go with where do I have it here? Barkov, Forsling, Ekblad.
All right. Question number 4. Who do you guys have in Euro 2024? Of course, kicked off today. Germany beaten up on Scotland 5-1.
Of course they did. No big surprise.
They need the Braveheart speech.
We do have a few more speeches coming on Positive Friday to wrap things up, but well, you know what? I will go with my descendants. I will say Germany.
Oh, I'll go France.
Soft.
Well, they got the best player, no?
One of them. Yeah.
One of them.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. They're a good pick. I think it's coming home.
Like the Hanson song that we were talking about? Mbop?
No. Oh.
Kind of trends, I think, towards where we're going with the next question. Hypothetical Friday. It's 90s night down at the Elks game. So I want to ask you guys this. If you could bring back any 90s trend, which would it be?
I talk to my kids all about it all the time because you know how kids are all wearing those low cut Converse, right? Back when I was younger, we used to get the high tops. Not that because I got that was the shoe that I always got because it was cheap, right? But it's kind of in style now. But anyway, kids used to get them as high tops and then they would cut them and they were kind of like your jeans where they would fray. Who's doing that? No one's doing that. I thought that looked so cool back in the day. I try to get my kids to do it. They're just laughing at me. Does anyone remember that? Connor? No? Gregor?
No.
Remember you used to cut them and then you'd watch them and they'd fray, like cutting the bottom.
No.
You cut the bottom of your jeans and they'd fray?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. But
Bring that back. That was a good look.
Oh, jeez.
No?
No.
Didn't that just happen naturally? Like my group, my era, we'd wear like the big pants that were really long. And it would just happen over time.
No, see, I thought Brownie was going to bring back because Sean Brown. People don't remember it, but Brownie used to love when he'd have his overalls and one buckle undone. That was his favorite look. It's true. I have a picture. There's a picture of it. You don't remember that?
No,
are you gonna try to tell us you didn't wear the overalls and then have the one kind of strap buckle undone?
The other thing I was going to bring
back.
The
great part is it's true.
The other thing I'd bring back, remember the 501 jeans and they used to cut the crotch, like that little piece there, so that the buttons would hang out?
Okay.
No one did that. Is that an Ontario thing? I don't know. Yeah. But I remember 501 jeans were the nicest jeans to get.
Okay.
And you would cut them and you'd have the buttons showing.
Oh. If I was bringing back one thing, well, because if I brought it back, well, it would never. I only had it for a short time because it was, obviously, I never had my hair for a long time. But honestly, like frosted tips were money.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Frosted tips were gold, man.
Yeah. When I think frosted tips, I think of Brent Myers. He had the frosted tips.
He did have a
Yeah.
He loved it. Just like some guys could really pull it off.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. And then, but the key about the frosted tip was you didn't want it too long into your hair, right? Because then it just kind of looked bad. Like, so you had to get it done properly.
I won't mention names, but there was actually a guy that I seen who kept that style of hair.
What do you mean mention names? What's the problem?
I can't. Well, I don't want to mention his name because I don't know him that well either, and I don't want to. It's not a hockey player. It's just
We're all friends on the show.
But anyway, he still has that style of hair with the tips and it.
So he's still doing the tip?
Yeah, and I just like that's
really well. You know what? Hey,
look anymore.
Hey, if he's liking it,
yeah, true.
Right? So why not?
Feeling it.
Hey guys, what about Doc Martens?
Oh,
those are heavy shoes.
Yeah, too thick, too heavy. For me.
They're big, bulky. So, hey Gregor, you're bang on. The ladies love the frosted tips. Some did, yeah. You know what? It had to be done correctly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You had frosted tips, Brown?
I dyed my hair once blonde. I bleached it.
Like
the everything. I look like my wife, and people were telling me I look like Tito Ortiz.
Oh,
so the season was
yeah.
over, and
Yeah. What year was that? Do you remember?
I can't remember the exact year.
So you
but-
did it after the season?
Yeah,
So you didn't do it for the playoffs?
No, season was over, and my wife and I we were together, and we drove down the coast, went on a 2-week trip, and before I left, I bleached my hair blonde, and away we went. It was actually it was my perfect trip and my wife's worst nightmare of a trip.
Why?
Because she hates it when I say I'm gonna wing it. My wife is she's so planned.
She's one of those.
She's
like,
planned in detail.
detail
And
oriented.
so when I first met her, I was like, "Hey, let's go on this trip." And she's okay. Well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, "I don't know. We'll just wing it."
Yeah.
And I can't get away with that now. Now that I'm married.
Hey guys, here's a positive. Every time the Oilers have been swept in the Cup Finals, they've gone on to win the Cup 5 in the next 7 years. From Len. It's true, Len. It's very true. They were swept in 1983 and then became quite good. So we'll see. Winning just once in the next few years would be a big one. 5 and a 7 might be a tad unrealistic, but
regardless of how this ends up, it's been an amazing year.
Oh, it's what. And to me, anybody who would suggest that this season has been a failure, I think would be missing a lot of the storyline. You can't say going to this. That's like saying Florida's last year was a failure. It's disappointing. Yes. I don't think you can call it as a failure because, we'll see, as long as they use it and it benefits them moving forward, right? You don't want to be the team that made it to the final and then didn't get back.
Yeah. And you know what? They still, with the two best players, still have a chance. But hey, talking about inspirational speeches, I know you coached in minor hockey. What was your speech? What was your go-to speech for the kids? What type of coach were you? We never did get into this.
You know what? I think for the most part, I'm a pump up coach. Like I'm very much into the kids listening, right? So there's that. But I like them to have fun. I don't know if I would have a big speech before the game. Usually, we had one of our kids this year actually who asked if he could make a speech. It was pretty
cool.
funny. So that I was like, yeah, buddy, no problem. So, and then he got up there and kind of forgot what he was going to say, but that's okay. He was 10 years old. I just like the fact that he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
More so for me, the big one was just the kids loved. I announced the starting lineup every game, and I always have a nickname for the guy, and everybody was starting. Like they kind of knew who got to start. They knew when it was their turn.
Yeah.
So I always try to come up with something,
cool.
just a little bit different, say their name, and then like really, to have everybody in the room kind of cheer when it was their name, right? So that's, come on, it's U11 hockey. There's not a big speech for me. I wouldn't. I can't say if I ever had a big speech, to be honest. It was more so just like, hey guys, this is what's happening. Here we go. Like before, like we played in a tournament in Beaumont, and we played a tier. We played a team in the final was a tier ahead of us. And it was their fourth game in 20 hours because the plant had gone down. So they had to change all the scheduling. And so I just told the guy before the game, but it was probably my post-game speech. That's the one I do remember about. Like I was like super proud, coach, at how much they had left in the tank and how well they played for that 24-hour period for those 4 games. It was just like, honestly, like they were really disheartened that they lost. And I was like, are you guys kidding me? This was the most proud I've ever been as a coach. Like you guys, and that, like I got really fired up after the game. So that might've been, it was, and they're probably like, we just lost. But the good news is for kids, you know what? Like they got their little prize bag afterwards within 2 minutes. The thing I love about the kids, I think coaches and parents hold on to the losses way longer than the kids do.
Absolutely. That's so cool that you give them the opportunity to introduce their teammates or have that moment, because that's part of growth and maturity.
Well, no, I do the introduction, but I make sure they're all part of it. Like when we do it, and now on defense, this started in the make sure everybody cheers.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get the fired up part.
Okay. I thought you got the kid to do it.
I asked one of the kids. No, they weren't ready for that yet. I asked, do you want to do this? No, they're a little shy.
I've seen kids do that. I've gotten kids to do it. The other cool thing that I used to do too is get the kids to do a drill. Right. Give them the marker, give them the ability to go up. Right. And see what it's like to, I always would be like, hey, you know what?
At what age though?
Oh, gee, they were young. I did it at lots of different ages, young and old. And, I was
then
like,
you can tell who's paying attention.
Well, who's paying attention, but they all have a favorite drill. And I was like, and it gives them buy-in to, to the practice, to the drill, to the team. And it teaches them, what it's like to be up at the board and, be able to explain a drill and explain it to the the group of guys, and it was either a drill that they would come up with that, they would share with, us coaches, and we kind of help them through it, or I would give them a drill that they would go up there and explain. But I love those types of things where, you can do, because that's what it's all about. It's not just about playing, but it's about trying to get them to be confident young athletes. So that's cool that you did that.
Brownie, Game 5 happening? Yes, you said it will. So Game 5 at least. All right. Have yourself a good weekend. Okay. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Booster Juice. Stop in today and try Booster Mixers, the perfect summer sipper in 5 vibrant varieties, and download it through the Booster Rewards app. Save more, get more. Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Weekend of CFL tonight. You got the Elks hosting the Montreal Alouettes. Kickoff 7 o'clock down at Commonwealth in the Association. The Celtics looking to complete the sweep over the Mavs. Those two teams meeting at 6:30 in the majors. The Jays kicking off a weekend series hosting the Guardians. First pitch in about 2 minutes' time. Games tomorrow on Sunday can be heard right here on Sports 1440. 3 games underway, 2 of which are in a rain delay. Mets, Padres, and Yankees, Red Sox. Top of the second, the Marlins and Nationals are scoreless. Earlier today, it was the Cards over the Cubbies, 3-0. In town here, Edmonton Riverhawks are in action, taking on Victoria. First pitch, 7:05. The Edmonton Stingers on the road tonight down in Calgary to take on the Surge. That one gets going just after 7 o'clock. In the WNBA, you've got the Sky taking on the Mystic at 5:30. Also, Lynx host the Sparks. Euro 2024, Germany, big win over Scotland, 5-1 earlier today. Tomorrow, Hungary takes on Switzerland. You got Croatia and Spain, and Italy battling Albania. And at the U.S. Open right now, Ludwig Aberg sitting atop the leaderboard with Matthew Cravon sitting 5 under. Thomas Detry, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Hanley sitting in second at -4. As for Canadians, Corey Connors right now tied for 9th at -1. Taylor Pendrith 1 over par. Adam Svensson +3. They will all be playing over the weekend with a projected cut sitting at +5. Amateur Ashton McCulloch will not be going. Nick Taylor +8. And tough day for Mackenzie Hughes. He was 12 over today, finishing 14 over par. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, the host of The Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small premium roast coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes.
Other Friday continues on.
Actions speak louder than words. Gather around the radio. Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com. A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Hey, Eddie Steele here. If you know me, you know I'm motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goodness, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street. Open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Before every big interview, every big presentation, every big moment, I've always looked in the mirror and put on my game face. But lately, my eyes look tired, my brow looks old, and I'm starting to think it's game over.
Stop thinking and start seeing Dr. Vance Elliott for skin refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance.
He didn't make me look weird. No, he gave me back my game face.
Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
.511. The only negative here about the Ewell Studios is that I have a great glass door behind us. I can see the whole mall, but I can't see outside. So sounds like it's raining. There's actually if you're out in Fort Saskatchewan, Lamont area, there's a little bit of a tornado watch. Seems kind of odd. I didn't think it was that hot. So they're probably being ultra cautionary, which is great. So hopefully it doesn't happen. But pretty heavy rain, but supposed to clear up here. We're looking at the weather tracker right now. So if it's that accurate, should be clearing up in time for kickoff for the Elks game, which the Con Man and the Duke will be attending on behalf of Sports 1440 tonight. So that'll be good. What's your expectations of the Owls tonight, Cons?
Good team. I think that's the expectations here. Obviously, kind of a dismantling of the Bombers last week with that 27-12 victory in Winnipeg. We know that's a tough place to play. So I think we're going to get a pretty good performance. The Elks will certainly be tested. Got to be on their P's and Q's, especially in that secondary, or else the Alouettes can take some shots downfield. But I think there's some positives, like we talked about earlier this week. The Elks' run defense looked pretty solid last week. And for them, setting down the run's big, but they've got to work on their run game as well. Both quarterbacks have big passing numbers. Elks need to get the run game going and try to slow down the opposing team's passing attack. Be a good challenge.
Let's get to it. Is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. How are you? Let's get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. And if you're sitting there, you know what? Maybe I need a change. Well, they are hiring right now laborers, pipe layers, pipe layer helpers, top men, top women, and more at Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. As we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good afternoon. The Edmonton Oilers are on the brink of elimination. It is must-win games now the rest of the way for the orange and blue. And last night, I would say, was the most disappointing loss of the series by far for Edmonton. that was the game that for long stretches they were the better team, and then shot themselves in the foot in a 6-minute span.
Yeah, they we've talked a lot through these playoffs, and now we've almost forgotten about that span in Vegas last year that, where they folded like a tent in game 5 and came home and lost game 6, and they said, we're never going to do that again. And they really were good at that through the first 3 rounds. We never saw that. They did weather those storms, and they did stem the tide at 1 goal. And all of a sudden last night, boom, 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 there's 3 goals in, and you go, oh man, I forgot about that. So yes, that was a crappy 3-goal stint there for against the Oil. And as it turns out, if you just could have kept one of those out of your net, you probably would have got into overtime, and then who knows what happens.
Yeah. Like, hey, Bobrovsky's making big saves, and I don't think Stuart Skinner's been awful, but as he said after the game, like I got to find a way to make one of those saves. It would have been a big save. Maybe somehow he finds a way to rob Barkov in the breakaway. I don't know. Get a stop on the 3rd goal, but it didn't happen. And now they move to tomorrow spec, and like they're a desperate team now. They were saying all the right things, and I truly believe they believe everything they were saying today. Do you think they'll be able to show it tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I thought I listened to all the players like you did today, Jay, and I thought, like, for sure, they're not lying. They do believe, and they do have all this adversity to fall back on and all that. I thought for the first time in these playoffs, I wasn't enamored with what Chris Knobloch said in his press availability.
Okay.
I don't think it's about expected goals, and I don't think it's about one period in the second period where we only allowed 50 seconds. That's one period. You lost like 8 periods in a row here. Or whatever it is. So I thought Chris, this for the very first time that I've been in dealing with him, I didn't think he was on point, and I thought he was not realistic. This isn't about expected goals here, pal.
Yes.
Right? That's not what we're doing here. So they're losing this series because the other team owns the middle of the ice. They're losing this series because the other team is winning way more board battles than they are. They're losing this series because Bobrovsky, as well as if Stuart Skinner's not playing bad, but he's not the best goalie on the ice. He's the second best every night. They're losing this series because their face-offs aren't any good. That's the first battle of every play is a face-off, and they're losing too many of them. They're losing this thing because the other team is cup ready, and they're not. And it's got nothing to do with expected goals, pal. Nothing.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, who cares? I'm sorry. Like, oh, well, our expected goals said that. Who cares what expected goals are? Like, what's the formula anyway? Someone explain to me this formula on expected goals. Like, everybody repeats it. I've never even seen the actual formula. So what does it even mean? Like, it's
who's charting them?
Yeah,
buddy? Who's charting? So I was on the other night. Let me tell a quick story. The other night I'm on. The Oilers get beat up pretty. No, I think they beat somebody. I forget what it was. Anyway, it was a one-sided game. I go on Natural Stat Trick. The high danger chances are like 22-10.
Yeah, well, that stat trick isn't very accurate.
Then I get the Sport Logic, and the high danger chances are 12-10. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So who am I trusting here? Who's charting this stuff? All these stats that these guys say are gospel. Who do we believe? Who's making these calls? Who tells me what a high danger chance is? Who tells me what my expected goal is? Who are these guys?
Well, the Oilers have their own. Natural Stat Trick, just so everybody knows, Natural Stat, all they do is scrape the NHL game sheet. Natural Stat Trick to me is that I don't even really look at theirs compared to, you have like Sport Logic is one where they have video and they go back and look. But the NHL, and I've actually talked to guys who work for NHL teams and they see the public stuff and they say it's really not as close as some people think it is. The Oilers have their own, Parkatti, he's the one who oversees it all, right? So they're looking at their own number. And I don't discount that their numbers, are something that, okay, hey, we think from here it could be an expected shot and, that's fine. But the point is you're not scoring them. So who cares? Who cares? Because I know his point is that, hey, we're not playing bad. And I agree with that to an extent when it comes to scoring chances. They're not finishing, true. But does it talk about the fact that Florida is better at staying in the battle longer, right? So That's what I would like to see. Like, what are those numbers suggesting? And the fact that they're never being brought up likely tells me that they know as an organization that they're losing some of those. They're losing too many of those battles.
They have to be. I mean, they got to know. I certainly hope they know, because the key to getting better is dealing with reality. And I've always, everybody out there who's listening right now, they know that I have time for analytics, but I'm also, I challenge the analytics, and I want to know, is a Draisaitl slot shot on Cam Talbot weighted the same as a Ryan McLeod slot shot at Sergei Bobrovsky? Because that's not the same chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me that's the same quality scoring opportunity. If Brett Kulak's shooting it, or if, Tyler Toffoli's shooting it, it's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things where sometimes the stats are misleading. My point would be this: the Oilers need to win. They need this. I wrote today, and I really believe this, Jason. Last year, this is hard to believe. In the 5-game Stanley Cup final last year, Vegas scored one game. They scored 5 on Florida. One game they scored 7. And one game they scored 9.
Yeah, that was the last game. Yeah, it was that last game they were done.
Does Florida? Can you imagine trying to get 7 goals on the Florida team we're watching right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 would be awesome. So my point is, Florida was Edmonton last year, and this year they got a stranglehold on this thing, and I see no reason why the Edmonton Oilers can't make the same jump year over year. So they got to figure out what it is that they're not winning at here. And I just hope they're realistic. Don't tell me that it's expected goals when you're losing every battle along the boards, when you can't make a zone exit because you can't figure out how to handle that defenseman that's stepping up off his blue line. They got to know and identify what they're not good at before they're going to improve on it. And right now, it's not expected chances. It's owning the middle of the ice. It's both the blue lines, and it's board battles. And until if they can figure that out, as Florida did, they can win a cup next year.
Well, and the other thing is, if you go look at Florida, made a lot of change, like Kulikov, like their third pairing's all different, right? So you're going to have to make some changes to their team. There's certain players that they felt weren't giving them what they wanted, right?
That's it.
And so Edmonton doesn't have any cap space, but Edmonton's going to have to move some guys and get some cheap contracts, just as a fact. Right.
And they might have to move some soft and get some hard.
Oh, I've said it before. Yeah. Their bottom 6 needs a little bit more hard. There's no question about it.
It does. It's not hard enough. Ryan's not hard enough. Fogel's not hard enough. McLeod is not hard enough. Oh my God. And I want to say this, I think you have to not reward players who don't play the right way. And I know I've been beating up on Ryan McLeod, but I think he's a perfect example. He gets completely rewarded with ice time for 4 rounds. He's been passing up hits for 4 rounds. You can't win. When you got a shot at Heiskanen and you got a shot at Doughty, you got to land the shot. You got to follow up on the forecheck and throw the check. And if I pass by it and do a flyby, I got to sit for a couple shifts. And this coaching staff's got to take a long look in the mirror here, because they're not holding guys accountable for the type of playoff hockey that wins. They're letting those guys make those flybys. They're running them out next shift, and you're not going to win that way. You're not going to win that way.
Spec, will they win a game? Will they win tomorrow?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully they're capable of it. They're good enough. They deserve a win along the way. It hasn't been that dominant. So I want to say, yeah, but listen, Florida's, they won't win if their battle level doesn't go up 30%. How about that? They won't win if Florida controls the middle of the ice the way they have for 3 games. They won't win if they can't figure out a better zone exit than they've had for 9 periods here. So figure 2 of those 3 things out, they'll win. If they don't make headway on any of those hard, battle-y, wicked playoff fronts that win and lose games, they won't win.
Spec, should be fun to watch. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, Jay.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Low Tide is next. It is the Gregor Show, live in the EWell studio, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo promo code Gregor50. Now, if you think the Oilers are going to lose, you definitely want to use it because then it's done because the playoffs will be done. Come Monday, we'll have a new one. But if you think they're going to win, you get a little extra time. But if you think they're going to win, maybe use it anyway. Minimum $5 deposit. Promo code is Gregor50. It can be on anybody. Hey, you think the Panthers are going to win? Put it down on them too. It's your choice. PlayAlberta.ca.
Get ready. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the finals with 10+ odds boosts on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win amazing prizes like season seats for the 2024-25 season or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Take your bedroom to the next level this spring at the Brick. Our bedroom event deals are here to help you renovate on a budget. Save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals and get up to 40% off bedroom furniture and mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an additional $500 off major kitchen appliances and get free delivery on purchases of $4.99 or more. Take advantage of these fabulous deals today. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
When it comes to your heavy haul trailers, don't settle for a patch job that will fall apart after a hard day's work. Bring your unit to AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They'll solve the problem once and for all, keeping you working with limited interruptions. For 25 years, their experts have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for mining, oil and gas construction, and renewable industries. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118th.
The ATV Classic is returning to Northern Bear Golf Club.
An international field of professionals will battle it out on their path towards the PGA Tour.
$15 gets you access to the tournament or upgrade your ticket for premium greenside viewing.
Net proceeds go to Youth on Course to give kids aged 6 to 18 access to play golf for just $5.
Come see the future stars of the PGA Tour.
The ATV Classic at Northern Bear Golf Club.
June 27th to 30th.
Get your tickets at atvclassic.com.
Tons. What other motivation? $5:28. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook.
Before I get to low tide, I like this from Kathy's. Says, Specs on a Positive Friday guy. I was at the game last night and I still believe. Well, Kathy, that's good. You should. As you should. And you know what? In honor of you, Kathy, and everybody out there who still believe, we probably should have used a Ted Lasso one at some point. He had a few beauties. But here's a hockey one that many have mentioned when talking about some of their favorite motivational speeches.
You were born to be hockey players. Every one of you. And you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great hockey team the Soviets have. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Oh, classic. Woo. I know Americans love that one. Oof, they love it. So, hey, I am sick and tired of hearing how good this Florida team is. Maybe that's what Knobach will say. Who knows? We'll see. You know what? Maybe he'll be like, guess what? Our expected goals is awesome. No, I'm kidding. We'll see. Let's go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action on your savings right now, especially when you think electrical on your home or on your business. If you want solar, they can help you set it up and get you great savings. ActionElectrical.net. Alan Mitchell, aka Low Tide, joins us. LT, how you doing?
I am very well, sir. It's a little rainy in my neck of the woods right now, but I'm good.
How rainy is it, Al? Like, are the windshield wipers on high?
You know, I would say that it's not on high yet, but you are definitely trending in that way.
Ooh. All right. Yeah, it's supposed. Well, hopefully it stops before kickoff tonight. We'll see. We'll switch it up here a bit, Al. What's like the Elks? Tonight they don't have a home game until July 14th, so a full month from tonight until their next home game. They, they played well for. It's funny. The Elks home opener was kind of reminiscent of the Oilers last night. They played well except for one stretch that cost them the game. And, they gave away, they had fumbles and missed field goals, and it was a comedy of errors, and it was kind of like the Oilers. So what's kind of your expectations of the Elks here? And does it get to a desperate point? I know it's only 2 games into the season where you're like, God, this team needs a win.
What you just said is exactly it. They have to give the fans, I think there's a lot of fans who want to believe. I really do. And you've got to do something to excite the fans. Like, what they need is a big run back or a new exciting wideout to do something. There has to be some kind of pull, and a win is great, but how they win, the excitement of the win, that's what the Oilers need, or the Elks need, and they need it soon because it's been a while.
Oh God. Yeah. It's been a while is like the polite way of saying it. Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly with you on that. So we'll see. I'm kind of curious. Bethel Thompson, had a decent first week. Wasn't bad by any stretch. And I do wonder, I don't know, maybe because I saw him last year and he was just exciting. I don't know, Trey Forge is exciting to me. I would at least try to use him at some point in the offense. Like, you can have 2 quarterbacks in the backfield. What the hell are we waiting for? Put him in there sometime. Just give you a different look.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And especially because he's so wildly popular, right? Like that this is a guy people like and are pulling for. And because of that, you just, it's a no-brainer, I think. You just have like a couple of set plays, something that he can get involved in.
Yeah. I don't see how it would hurt Al at all. Now, the Edmonton Oilers, Al, they're hurting. The fan base is hurting. What was your biggest takeaway of last night?
Well, I think that, in game 1 and in game 3, I think the Edmonton Oilers played well enough to win. However, last night they made, I love Evan Bouchard. I think he's going to be a wonderful player for a long, long time. But I think the presence of mind to know that it's Barkov you're trying to beat right along the blue line with no protection, no help back for you, that's a moment where maybe you want to, just get the puck to safety somewhere in the area, in the offensive zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the same thing about Skinner, and I feel the same way. Later on, there just seemed to be like 2 or 3 mistakes. The Nurse mistake. Look, these things happen, that I get it, but in a game like that, the safe play would have been better in all 3 instances.
Oh God, yeah, like they beat themselves so poorly. It was just self-destruction would have been the title of to me. If I was the editor of the paper, it would have been self-destruction, because that's what it was last night.
Yeah, and I think that I never want to say, because I have literally no idea. I never want to say, oh, well, the moment was too big for them, because, this is a battle-hardened team. It really is. However, Bouchard's still young. Skinner's still young. Nurse isn't young, but those were young mistakes. Philip Broberg sent the puck early, like 2 minutes into the game.
Oh, yeah.
He passed the puck. He thought it was going to go out of the zone. It did not. It turned around. These are errors of youth for the most part. And in a game where the other team is like Paul Maurice in Winnipeg, when he had the Jets against Edmonton and with Florida, he almost is coaching to win everything 1-0. So it's easier to play, I think, when you're not pushing events, you're just trying to suppress, and they're really good at it. And then they wait for their opportunities. And, it really is unfortunate, because I thought the Fogle goal was going to be I really did think it was going to be a big goal. And it turned out it will be, forgotten and, for the most part, because of the barrage of goals. But this team isn't far away. I hope people know that. And if somebody is out there, you were talking earlier about somebody who has hope that they're going to come back, Hal, you go for it. Teams have won 4 in a row, and the Edmonton Oilers have a lot to give, and they have not shown what they're capable of yet. And I'd like to see them go on a run. Why not? Hell, win 3 games. Let's see what happens in Game 7.
Well, it would be an unreal story just to see it. And, teams have done it. We had Scott Hartnell on earlier. He was on that 2010 Flyers team. And, he said, man, we felt a lot like Edmonton does. Because he thinks Edmonton, like a lot of people, could have won at least 1 game at this point. They weren't thoroughly dominated in any of the games. There's some areas, though, Al, they are getting dominated. And that's my concern. So Edmonton is actually producing more high danger scoring chances in Florida the entire series. That's valid. But they're losing lots of faceoffs. I think they don't forecheck as well as Florida, and Florida definitely doesn't beat themselves like Edmonton has at times in this series. And so my question is, how is Edmonton? Like, I don't know if they can improve on draws out. Like, it's been 3 games, and we really haven't seen much improvement. I know Drysdale's a little bit banged up, sure, but I don't see how bringing in Ryan for Carrick just got them worse in faceoffs, not better, because Carrick was good. So I don't really know how they're going to get better in the areas that they're lacking, right? Like, the one area that they should, in theory, improve on is their finishing from their top 5 players. That should, in theory, improve.
Yeah, I think it's more basic than that, honestly.
Okay.
I don't think it's a category per se. I think they just have to get a power play goal, start playing their game, start feeling less tight about everything. Hell, man, this team averaged, was it 3.56 goals a game? And I don't even know if they have 3.56 goals in the series. And they're just not. And I know, look, I understand there's injury, and I understand there's a lot that our Florida is doing. But in Game 4, there's I think it was Hyman who said it today. There's no pressure on us. Well, that's true. Just go out and play your game, because if you play your game, I think the Edmonton Oilers will win the game. And then you build it brick by brick, right? The disappointment I think that Oilers fans are feeling is they never got a chance to see that team, the team they watched all year, the resilient team, the team that overcame, the team that Connor McDavid talked about with their backs against the wall. They just have not been able to get out from under Florida, and it's a spell they're under. And if it continues, it won't be a spell for long.
Yeah, no, that is true. Would you make any lineup changes?
Well, I think your Carrick point is a good one, and I don't know how injured all of these guys are, but I would not play. I wouldn't play anybody who's hurt. I really like Connor Brown's game, and I know I've mentioned it a lot, but I might move him up. I know he's playing well where he is, but I might move him up the depth chart. And I feel like maybe you don't make lineup changes, but you shuffle a little bit. And I'm not talking about McDavid or Draisaitl. I'm talking about, some of the players who on this team, Janmark's had a hell of a run. Henrique's looked good. Maybe give them a little more time. And Philip Broberg is getting more time. So I won't say that, but I think he's played well as well.
Okay. Would you bring Desharnais back in? Craig Button thought he'd go with 7 defensemen.
Well, you know what? Craig Button knows a lot more about stuff than I do. So maybe only because one of the things I'm concerned about is you always want to have 6 guys, and we know Nurse isn't 100%. So if you've got an extra defenseman there, then you might be able to double shift. I don't even know who's not. I believe this. At the end of this series, we're going to find out a litany, a long list of injuries to these Edmonton Oilers because they're not themselves. So I don't know if you can double shift McDavid or Draisaitl, but if you could, that might be an idea.
Yeah, it's fair. Al, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Elks game tonight. Oilers tomorrow. So there's lots of action. And what is your gut telling you? Will you be having the obituary for the 2024 season for the Oilers, or will you be setting up Game 5?
Setting up Game 5.
Setting up Game 5. There you go, LT. Positive Friday to you. Have a great day.
All right, sir. Have a good weekend.
There you go. That's Al Mitchell, AK. Lowtie. Cons, what do you say? What's happening? Obit Monday, or will it be preview Game 5?
Gotta believe, Gregor. I gotta believe. So I say we're going to be previewing Game 5.
All right, Ted Lasso.
Stretch it a little longer.
All right, everybody's loving the Lasso. How can you not? He's had a few good lines. The scene about the darts. People were curious. And if you would have curious, you'd ask questions about, do you play darts, Ted? Well, I do. In fact, I played every Saturday with my dad. It's a classic scene. We will return. Lots of texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Very simple. Tell me, what is Monday going to be? Game 5? Preview? Season obit. 833-401-1440. And why? What makes you believe or what makes you non-believe? Let us know, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox.
It's time to bring the Stanley Cup back to Canada for the first time since 1993. Let's go, Oilers. Bring it home. This is Sports 1440s.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? The Mixed and Mingle League. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club every Thursday as they pair up males and females for a fun and social round of golf. Only $33.30 all season long. Details at cattailcrossing.ca.
Postseason is always exciting for hockey fans.
Thanks, Jason.
Yes.
Anything going on in town this week? There. Did my very best to lighten the mood. Put in a little levity. Because as I rode down the 99th Street, northbound to Rogers Place this morning, the city seemed to be in a funk. And maybe the morning after the night before, the Edmonton Oilers, after a 4-3
A lot of texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Welcome back to Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, Gregor, what's your code again? It's Gregor50, Daniel. Gregor50 at PlayAlberta.ca. Good luck. Let's get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. And at Legacy, they feel that Nugent, Hopkins, and Hyman, one of them is scoring in Game 4. LegacyHeating.ca.
Thanks, Jason. Anything going on in town this week? There. Did my very best to lighten the mood. Put in a little levity. Because as I rode down the 99th Street, northbound to Rogers Place this morning, the city seemed to be in a funk. And maybe the morning after the night before, the Edmonton Oilers, after a 4-3 loss in Game 3 of this Stanley Cup Final to the Florida Panthers, with the Panthers leading this best-of-7 series. 3 games to nada. I get it. But really? I mean, really? I don't think the series is over. Now, the Oilers winning the Stanley Cup, that's another equation. But for right now, and I mean right now, the Oilers will not let the Panthers prance Lord Stanley's mug around their backyard. In other words, Rogers Place ain't gonna happen. I think the Oiler players know, but far more importantly, respect Edmonton fans. They will use every motivation known to man to extend this series to Game 5 back in Florida. So we have the Oilers playing for, and I sincerely mean this, the best fans in the league. And the Oilers? They like to make things interesting, rising to the occasion with one skate in the grave. Look at last November when the mere thought of making the playoffs was in serious jeopardy. And look where we are. They utilize a disappointing situation as motivation before. If ain't broke, right? Come on. Let's go streaking, not only in Grandma Anderson's rhubarb patch, but earlier. The Oilers, before their series with Florida, beat the Dallas Stars in 3 consecutive games to end round 3. And what about that 16-game unbeaten streak? The Oilers went on earlier this season. 16 games. What's 25% of 16? 4, right? How many games do the Oilers need to win? Put the brakes on right there, just one. It all begins with just one win. Look for that. Saturday night. 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Monday, Friday. Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440. No way, no how.
Put Tater in the camp that there'll be a Game 5 is what I come up with that. We got a lot of text on this one. Hey, guys, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? For balls, it was not. But for those who are unaware of one of the classic motivational speeches, because you know what's important in a motivational speech? Not accuracy, but emotion.
Hey! What's this lying around? Well, what the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
War's over, man. Wormer dropped the big one.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
Oh, it's such a classic. The rest of his speech wasn't very great, but just that part, that's why we ended it right there. From Animal House, for those of you who may be a little bit too young to know that one. Hey, guys, Game 5 preview, because moments like this define legacies. Oilers won't get swept from Brad. Boys, season's over come Monday. I want to believe, but it's just not going to happen. The task is too daunting. The Panthers will want it after losing last year, and they don't want to let a lying dog get up. From Tyler. Boys, Oilers get to Game 5. The formula began in the third period, I believe. From Jason. Boys, Game 5, because we ain't going out like Willie Lump Lump. I don't know, man. It's a line out of Menace to Society. From Chris. Oh. Hey, guys, the Oilers are done. I can't see it any different than it did the first 3. I wonder if there is less Oiler fans and more Panther fans at Rogers. I wouldn't go to watch Kachuk lift the cup. I have to wonder why an Order fan would. Are you serious, dude? I actually think there'll be more Panther fans in the building. Thinking Order fans aren't quitters. There is zero chance. It's going to be very loud again tomorrow. Hey guys, I've said all along the most difficult opponents the Oilers play are those who pressure with an aggressive forecheck. The likes of Colorado, Canucks, Panthers put such pressure on the team that they revert back to their old habits of turnovers and offensive gaffes. That's why I believe the Panthers will be hoisting the cup on Saturday night in E-Town from Jeff. So there you go. Guys, please, for the love of everything, it's Father's Day on Sunday. I don't want to be in a bad mood. They better win from Dad. You know what, Dan? We haven't even thought about that. Yeah, that's right. You know, the men, we sacrifice a lot, okay? It's Father's Day. For those diehard Order fans, that's what most dads like. I don't want a present. Like, do I want another pair of underwear or a tie or socks? No, you don't. Just want your team to win. I can get on board with that. I get it. Although I do have a good meal planned on Sunday night. Not that I'm making it, but that's what's good. That's why it's going to be real good. Hey, whatever you do this weekend, have fun. You're going to the Elks game, you're going to the Oilers game, you're going to a party, you're going to the Shania Twain concert. Please don't drink and drive. And definitely don't weed and drive. There's lots of the numbers from the Edmonton police that lots of intoxicated people do to drugs. So please don't get behind the wheel. Okay? Be smart. Be safe. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the game. Hey, maybe Edmonton's going to get 2 wins. Heck, maybe they'll get 2 losses. Maybe they'll split. We'll see. We'll discuss it all on Lundy. Let's get to Connor Halley and a sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance. Hey, they believe. I got a text from High Street. Deborah, they believe at High Street. They support all local businesses, including the Oilers. Go Oilers from highstreetinsurance.com. Good night.
This is a sports 1440 update.
Just over an hour away from kickoff down at Commonwealth as the Edmonton Elks back in action, taking on the Montreal Alouettes. In the association, we've got about 40 minutes as the Mavs looking to stay alive as they take on the Celtics, trailing 3-0. Tip-off 6:30 from the American Airlines Center. In the majors, the Jays in action tonight, taking on the Guardians, bottom of the third. Guardians up 1-0. These teams meet tomorrow and Sunday. You can hear it all here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, Yankees up on the Red Sox 2-0 in the first, bottom of the fourth. The Nationals have a 7-1 lead over the Marlins. Orioles and Phillies tied at 1 apiece heading into the fourth. And the Braves up on the Rays 5-1. Earlier today, it was the Cards over the Cubbies 3-0. In town here, Riverhawks are in action at 7:05, taking on Victoria. The Edmonton Stingers on the road down in Calgary to battle the Surge. That one gets going just after 7. WNBA, the Mystics beating up on the Sky at the end of the first, 24-10. Aaliyah Edwards, 10 points, 6 boards in that one. And a few minutes left in the first, Lynx trail the Sparks 20-12. Earlier today at Euro, it was Germany over Scotland 5-1. And at the U.S. Open, atop the leaderboard, Ludwig Aberg sitting by himself at 5 under par. Thomas Sutry, Bryson DeChambeau, and Patrick Hanley all 4 under. As for the Canadians, you've got Corey Connors at -1. That's good for 9th position. Taylor Pendrith tied for 12th at 1 over par. Adam Svensson, he's 3 over. He's going to miss the cut. Other Canadians to miss the cut will be Adam Hadwin, who was +7. Nick Taylor, 8 over par. And Mackenzie Hughes, who was +14. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Turn Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.